You are now tuned into Kari's Crib.
Kari's Crib.
Kari's Crib. Kari's Crib.
Said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
Microphone checker. What's good in 10 people? My name is Khary. This is my crib. And today, we're gonna watch a ship fly off into space. It's gonna blast off into the sky. It's gonna break the atmosphere. It's gonna go into outer space. And then it's gonna shoot the tip off like the rocket nutted and just fly into space and try to meet up with a space station. And it's getting let off its seeds. So it's like the Earth. Like the Earth just had an erection, shot off a nut, and planting 2 seeds on a space station out in space. What you think? You know, it should be interesting. I'm gonna have a couple people join me today. You know, I'm gonna have Be Ready Poetry. I'm gonna have Blessed Serenity. They're gonna join me. They're gonna do some poetry. We're gonna have an open mic today. We're going to it should be interesting. We're gonna have a discussion on a universal level about all types of things. I'm gonna allow people to call in. You can be able to check in. Let me know where you're calling from. Let me know your thoughts on today's launch. Is it historic? Is it just some rich guys having fun with the money they got in their pocket, flying shit off into space? It should be interesting. You know, they're getting ready to launch. You know, they're getting ready to launch these things into space. I got a video, you know, coming here directly from SpaceX, launch Amerikkka. We're gonna be checking in with that. They're talking their shit. Let me go ahead and turn this music down some. You know, let's see what these people are talking about over here. You know, let's see what they got going on.
This time we flew Americans on a brand new vehicle.
Ah, this is a brand new vehicle they're flying into space with. You know,
With them, they flew.
it should be interesting. I've always been curious with space and things like that, and the universe and just the galaxy and different planets, and is there life? Does other life exist? I'm not really too concerned about whether they've been here or not, because if they have, there ain't really much I could do. Just please don't grab me and stick anything up my anus, you know? We got Mr. Be Ready Poetry. Get ready to check in. Let's see what he's doing. He looks like he's in his vehicle traveling across wherever he is at this current moment right now. I'm not sure where he's checking in from. Let's see if we're gonna get his audio. Yo, what's good? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me, man?
What's good, bro? How you doing? We got Be Ready checking in. Where you checking in from, man? Where you at right now?
Hey, yo, I'm checking in from Northeast Louisiana right now, man.
Louisiana. How's things looking out there? With everything that's going on in the world right now.
Like in the part of Louisiana that I'm in, man, it's pretty calm, man. It's not all the crazy stuff that you see, man. It's pretty, like I said, it's pretty calm here, man. We don't have a lot of stuff going on. Like I stay like in a little smaller area. So, you know, with the whole pandemic thing that's going on, it don't really affect us as much because we don't really have that many people here, man.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but other than that, I'm trying to get to my, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get to my big bro crib. I forgot that we are hour difference, man. Yeah, so I could get a better Zoom.
Got you. Got you.
Bro. Yeah.
Yes. My 1:30 is your 12:30.
Yeah, I forgot about that part, man.
Got you.
I said that this morning when we chopped it up.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's all good, man. It's all good. We got some time. We probably gonna get the open mic started around 2-ish, 2:15-ish or something like that, you know. Up to then, we just gonna have a little discussion, you know, talk about NASA, space, SpaceX, you know, all types of things, you know, things that's going on with the world, all the protests and stuff like that. COVID. We could talk about a whole bunch of things, man. You know?
Cool. Like I said, man, let me get to an area where I'm secure. My signal gonna be strong, man. And hey, man, I'm gonna drop a couple of dimes on y'all about space and everything too, man. I don't want my signal to go out while I'm doing that.
Got you, bro. Got you.
Yeah. So give me about like maybe 15 minutes. I'll be to a good spot, man. And hey, we gonna drop dimes.
All right, man. We're gonna chop it up a little bit. You know, just hit me back once you get to a better reception and you all ready and everything. All right.
Oh yeah. Most definitely, man.
All right, man. I'll holler at you shortly.
Yes, sir.
That was Be Ready Poetry. He's about to check in shortly. He's still got some things he need to get to his final destination safely, you know, and get really good signal so we don't drop off or anything like that. But we do have the shuttle over here. We got 50-50 chance of launching today from what they say, and there's a chance of rain. Chance of thunderstorms, which could possibly mess it up and make it to where we don't see a rocket ship fly through the air, which would be sad. And these guys have been sitting in this chair for about 4 hours now with these suits on, you know, and I'm not sure how comfortable they are. You know, they just sitting back, waiting. They're pretty much just in a waiting state right now. Let's see what they're talking about over here.
That was our primary mission objective, but that paled in comparison to what happened next.
Decided to show us a black
In the
astronaut.
Russian segment, and we had this meal with people from all over the world: Russian, German, French, African American, Asian American. This diversity that we talked about earlier. We're up there breaking bread at 17,500 miles per hour while listening to Sade's Smooth Operator. It blew my mind. It was
that's
Smooth
interesting.
Operator, right? You
What
know?
an appropriate song for
I
this
know.
for the job too, right?
Wow, does she know? She knows
Well,
now.
yeah. And Dan Tani actually changed the song from Smooth Operator to Arm Operator. So you see Arm Operator.
I love it. Love it. And Leland, you actually, we were in another taped segment when you got a text from.
I'm gonna be
Drew
jumping in and
Foystel.
out,
Can
you know.
you share that with us?
Yeah,
Between
Drew
what they
Foystel's
talking
good friend
about,
just
between
sent me a
shit that
text
pops in my
saying
head.
that, the families say hello to all who are watching and thank the nation and the world for their support and interest. And Chris Ferguson just actually sent me a text. He was the commander on STS-135 and one of my classmates from the 1998 class, and he says, "Way to go, Godspeed on."
I don't know. For some reason, I don't want to hear about
Awesome.
nobody
It's
named
great
Chris
to hear
Ferguson. He
those
just
words
doesn't
of
sound right to
support.
me.
Thank you guys for watching and everybody following
doesn't.
along
I'm
at
sorry.
home. I mean,
I'm sorry. Just that name.
The
little
COVID-19
odd.
situation has been just a tough time for people stuck inside, homeschooling their kids, still trying to do their jobs, and so it's really cool to be able to watch this happening. And we see the pad closeout team. It looks like they are getting ready, or they've left the white room and they've already come down the crew access arm, so they are getting ready to leave the pad now.
So we're still about an hour, 37 minutes away from this
And we are gonna
rocket
go now
launching.
to,
You know, and I wanted to check in because when I was looking over on my screen, I kind of saw like water and shit. I wasn't sure if that was condensation from whatever they got going on by this ship, or if it was like raindrops coming from the sky and it's about to cancel this whole thing. You know, I do want to know if this whole thing's gonna be canceled because I'd be a little upset. I want to see this thing fly off into space. You know.
Gabe Sherman, NASA's Chief of Staff. We appreciate you being here.
Hey, thanks for having me, Daryl.
You got kind
Oh,
of the
they
insight
really
of what's
did.
coming down the pike here.
They really did. It looks like,
so of course, today is commercial crew. We're focused
Totally
on that
looks like
and
they're green
seeing the
screen, but that's
commercial
actually
market.
there.
But what's off in the horizon for NASA?
Well, I'll just tell you.
I don't care what's off on the horizon about NASA right now. I'm curious about aliens and stuff. Did y'all see those videos that was released and the government actually confirmed that, yes, those were UFOs, you know? UFO only means it's an unidentified flying object. It doesn't mean it's an alien being, you know? They just don't know what it was. It could have just been some test ship from some other country or even our own country itself, you know, but they just don't know. So it's a UFO at this time, unidentified flying object. Could it have been alien? Possibly. Do I know? What do I think? I think it's an unidentified flying object. I think it's a UFO. We got some people in the comments. What's going on? What's good with you, Sheena? You gonna perform tonight? I want to go to this afternoon. It's the daytime, isn't it? I be having it dark in my crib. I don't be knowing whether it's dark or night, but it's daytime out. The sun is out. Let me see. Yeah, the sun is out. No, but it might rain, and they're not actually too far from us, and it is a little cloudy over here, so it might be cloudy over there. I'm on the west coast of Florida. They're on the east coast of Florida. So not the same clouds, but it is a bit cloudy, you know. Let's see. You see what they're talking about.
It's helping us learn a little bit more, prove out a little bit more, so we can take that next giant leap to Mars. And so everything that we're doing at the moon helps prepare us to move on to Mars.
How about the activity in low Earth orbit, like commercial crew, which is happening
Mars
today? How does that help us for missions to the moon?
Yeah, I think anytime you're launching humans, you're learning, right? And you're taking what you've learned and you're moving it forward to the next mission. But I think it's really about the business case. If you think about what commercial crew is, it's NASA moving from owning and operating hardware to buying a service, right? And if you remember, just a few
this is
weeks
like
ago,
a joint venture.
Man, we awarded 3 contracts on the human landing system to commercial companies. And so we're hoping that we move to a day where we're actually buying a service to get our astronauts back and forth to the moon. So actually enabling.
Why do we want to go back and forth to the moon, though? Why do we want to do that?
Crew is a great proving ground for that.
I don't know.
Helps us prove out that business case, build those partnerships, and then we get a feed forward to the moon. So it means a lot. This means a lot as we move out.
I don't know. Why would we want to do that?
About the commercial crew, the commercial aspect going to the moon, and those partners. They're going to be studying those landers.
What do we need on the moon?
To see if they are viable for NASA.
Yeah, working through a tremendous process with the commercial providers and NASA engineers going through initial designs.
Right now, we just go into a space station to just chill for a little while and say, "What's up, dude? We just wanted to see if we could do this, so we're gonna do this." You know what I mean?
Landing systems are better prepared for sustainability out in the later 20s, and so that is going to be an ongoing process throughout this year and moving into next. So it's going to be really exciting to kind of see what comes out as, hey, this is the lander that's going to take the first woman and the next man to the moon in 2024.
Right, so different than the
and that's only 4 years away.
We went to the moon, and that program ultimately came to an end. The idea here, though, is to try to create some sustainability. Talk about that.
Right, and sustainability.
That's only 4 years away.
You can get to sustainability if you have reusability, right? And that's what we're seeing with commercial crew for sure. But whenever you think about our human landing system, you're looking at a system that we put out there at the moon once we get to sustainability, and it's going back and forth, taking multiple trips to the lunar surface, back up to Gateway, which you're familiar with, is kind of our smaller space station we're going to put in orbit around the moon. So we are building an architecture that is going to enable reusability at the moon. Apollo never had that. And so whenever you think about driving down cost and increasing access, reusability, sustainability are critical.
So you get to see everything from a very high level at NASA. What's it like for you personally?
I wish I had just like a little telephone that I could call them up and be like, "Yo, I got some questions. Why y'all want to go to the moon? Why you talking about the moon? You ain't been there in so many years. Why you want to go back now? Why you talking about going back and forth to the moon? For what? What's that trying to do? You trying to prove?" I'm curious about that. Actually, I think I might Google that. Why these people want to go back and forth to the moon? Let's see. Why they want to go back and forth to the moon? Probably not the best way to search Google. That's probably not the best search term. Why they want to go back and forth to the moon? Guess what? I'm Googling it anyway. I'll tell you what comes up. Why everyone wants to go back to the moon? The first joint up. And guess who that's by? The New York Times. So I guess my question wasn't too stupid after all, like I initially thought. I guess I might be kind of bright. What they talking about now?
SpaceX's next rocket after Falcon 9. And before that, I worked for many years on the same thing for Falcon. So hopefully today you'll see another one of those landings.
Yo, you see how these dudes are sitting here?
And speaking of that,
they've been sitting here like this for like the past 4 hours.
In getting people to
for like 4 hours they've been like that, yo.
Well, it's really all about making human space flight affordable. And what you want for that is a 100% reusable.
And we getting ready to check in
Falcon
with Blessed
is
Serenity
only
in a moment.
partially
You know, she getting ready
But
to
Starship
check in
is
with
going
us.
to be 100% reusable, and we've actually already started working with NASA on using Starship to send astronauts to the surface of the moon for the first time since 1972.
Yo, do you think
Not only
they
that, Starship will be
what's up with the new outfits, the new uniforms?
And the combination of those two things will let us send people basically anywhere.
You can kind of tell the new uniforms were designed by Tesla. I want to see this joint shoot off into the air.
Lunar bases, or what SpaceX cares about most, a
There's been a couple of launches in the past years ago, and I've actually been able to see the ship flying through the sky from Tampa over there at Kennedy. Pretty much straight across the state of Tampa. I mean, state of Florida. So that giant rocket that they about to shoot off, that big old long thing is there just to put this little old tip of this thing, that little old thing right there. All of that. I got the mouse on the screen. If you can't see it, I'm actually moving it around the rocket ship right now. But this big old rocket ship is just to put this little ass thing right here. That big ass container of fuel, fire, and explosive capacity to push that little ass thing into space.
Yeah, that sounds really difficult. And I'm sure
that's a lot of
there's been
fucking
a lot
power
of
needed.
Effort put into that. Can you tell us anything about
But it's
what
fascinating
we're
though.
working on now to get us to a point where we can do a landing like that in such a harsh environment?
Yeah, so figuring out propulsive landing is really the key part of it. But what people may not realize is that every time we bring Falcon back, we do something called an entry burn. So just before we hit the atmosphere, we light the engines to slow the rocket down. That happens high up where the air is very thin, and it just so happens that the conditions there are very similar to what a Mars landing burn would look like. So even though it takes months to get to Mars, and you can only do it every 2 years when the planets line up, we effectively get to practice Mars propulsive landing every time we bring Falcon back, including, hopefully, today.
Wow. And as you mentioned, every time we bring Falcon back, we learn something new. Can you tell us a little bit more about what we learn after the vehicle has returned and we're able to check out the vehicle?
Yeah, so Jessica actually mentioned this earlier, that I talked about how cost is really one benefit of reusability, but reliability is the other benefit. I mean, imagine that you do all this planning to send a rocket up through the rigors of launch and re-entry, but you don't get to see the rocket afterwards. And what we would like to do with reusability, what we've been able to do with Falcon 9, is see the rocket, inspect it, and because of that, we've been able to correlate our models pre-flight to what actually happens when you launch, re-enter, and land a rocket.
Right, instead of just guessing what happened to the vehicle after it's left.
Exactly.
That is amazing. Well, thank you again for joining us today for a second round. Hopefully the weather works with us today in a couple hours, actually. Let's throw it back to KSC with Marie.
All right, actually, we have Lauren here. Now, today's mission opens up the door to one day allowing the general public to be able to visit places like the moon and Mars. And as you've heard through several interviews today, reusability is a really, really important part of that. Imagine if every time you flew a plane from LA to New York, you threw it away at the end of the flight. That would mean essentially airline travel would be too expensive, costing hundreds of millions of dollars a flight, and almost no one would be able to fly. And so that's what SpaceX is trying to do here with reuse, allowing not just a handful of people to be able to go to space, but tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of regular folks like you and me to be able to go to space. So, myself, when people like me have a chance to go, I know my dream is to land on Jupiter's moon, Europa. Scientists believe that there is a liquid water ocean underneath the ice, and that it has the potential to be habitable. And so I'm super excited to get up close and personal to maybe some space fish. Leland, what about you? Where would you go?
Wow, that's a pretty interesting destination. I think I would like to go to Mars. We've studied Mars so much and looked at it, and I think maybe having a Martian base that is dog friendly, bring the pups along, because I think as we explore, we want to take our families, our cultures, our traditions, with us, and flying with Doug and Bob is cool, but having more people, yeah.
There's
See,
the dogs.
the puppers,
love
taking
the
the
dogs.
puppers to space. I mean, they're not.
They
only-
look ready to go.
They
too.
are ready to go. We just needed maybe some like SpaceX type suits for them, But it's that's what it's all about, exploration. Like the settlers going west, they took everything with them, and they started these new communities and these new traditions. And I think that's what we do with space travel. We start new traditions and communities and bring everyone together as one family, one civilization.
Absolutely. We're here for it. And knowing that the opportunity to fly to space as a private citizen is really just right around the corner, we have a new poll question on Twitter for you. If given the opportunity to fly to the moon, now we're talking the moon, would you fly to the South Pole where no one has ever been, or would you go to the Apollo 11 landing site? So those are going to be some interesting answers.
And while there is not a ton of cargo on today's mission, Dragon is carrying two very special payloads, aside from Bob and Doug, of course. The first of those payloads is a series of custom art pieces entitled Humankind by Los Angeles artist Tristan Eaton. These indestructible, double-sided paintings made from gold, brass, and aluminum celebrate how far humanity has come, as well as how far we still have to go. It includes a beautiful homage to the Saturn V rocket, as well as a nod to Bob and Doug's current ride to space. And you can find more images and information about these pieces on SpaceX's social channels. Next, in the spirit of inspiring the next generation of explorers, we wanted to celebrate the class of 2020, from kindergarten all the way to graduate school. So SpaceX and NASA invited students from around the world to submit their photo to fly on America's first human spaceflight in nearly a decade. Each graduate's photo was used to create a mosaic image of our beautiful planet Earth, which we printed, and it's now being flown aboard Bob and Doug's flight on the Crew Dragon spacecraft. We received nearly 100,000 photos. That's a ton, so thank you, and congratulations, graduates.
Yeah, I've got a couple family members and friends who submitted their photos,
Oh,
so they're
wow.
super excited about seeing their faces go to space in that beautiful mosaic. That was really
great.
cool.
And again, that's what it's all about, everyone coming together with their experiences and bringing them forward to space. And I think regular people flying to space, SpaceX is going to be flying, non-government people, non-military people, but people that have a desire to explore and do new things and traditions off planet, as we say sometimes.
Yeah, all this time since we've had the International Space Station, it's been government astronauts performing the research because you're the only ones we've been able to send, right? But
Well, we've had some tourists, though. We've had people that paid their way on a Soyuz rocket
sure.
to go. But it's really the billionaire boys club. That's what Pharrell talks about with, it costs so much money to go to
Right.
space, and I think that price point will come down as we make this more amenable for everyday people.
Absolutely.
And then eventually being able to fly artists and musicians
Yeah.
and poets. People can tell the story of what they've seen out there in a way that really connects to the soul of people down on Earth, so they feel inspired to go.
Exactly.
Now, following today's mission, we will be one step closer to a future where we can all have that opportunity to gain the orbital perspective and explore new worlds. In just over an hour from now, Bob and Doug will be the first people to launch on an American vehicle in almost a decade. And for the SpaceX team, if I can try to speak for all of us, which is impossible, but I will say it has been an absolute honor to have the opportunity today to have this stage to show the world what we've poured our hearts into over the years with our partners at NASA. And it's just deeply humbling to know that the agency and that Bob and Doug have entrusted us with this critical mission. The responsibility that's on our shoulders is huge, and we're just so grateful to be here today.
Absolutely, and I know that our NASA teams really share in that sentiment. We heard from just a handful of them earlier when Bob and Doug were riding out to the launch pad, but there's so many people that we're probably never going to see or hear from on the public stage, but that have poured their hearts and souls, as you said, into this mission. All the engineers up late hours, checking, checking, triple checking everything to troubleshoot and solve problems and get us to this point. So it's just really awesome that we've made it to this point.
When you think about legacy, Katherine Johnson, who helped get John Glenn to space, her daughters are watching right now. And that, again, that legacy going forward to the future of space travel is powerful.
Wow.
And we heard from two icons of science and exploration on Wednesday, and we couldn't resist sharing these shout outs with you one more time.
Well, they talking all types of shit now.
Well, we're making history again.
Did they really bring this dude in?
Program. I am there with you guys in spirit. Bob, Doug, good luck. I know you'll be fine.
This motherfucker's an actor.
I'll be watching and got everything crossed.
And yet they bringing him in.
I'm tied in a knot. Can't wait
I
for you
thought
to
we
get
had Blessed Serenity checked
This
in.
is the first time?
But it looks like she just checked out, actually. She was just connected. And looks like we lost her connection. No, but I see we got people checked in the comments. How's everybody doing this evening? I'm glad you're checking in. We gonna be watching this rocket blast off into space. Should be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Let's see real quick. And just getting this checked up, or brought up, I should say.
Thanks, Murray. Yeah, 1 hour, 18 minutes. I think we're tying ourselves in knots, just like Captain Kirk. We're really hoping the weather cooperates.
A
In about
little
20
over
minutes or
an
so, we
hour.
might clear. So we're getting hopeful. We're getting our hopes up.
Yes, yes, very
Before
excited.
the-
Again, we're T-minus
the
1
T-minus.
hour and 18 minutes from launch, and we
1
are
hour,
the
18
anticipation
minutes,
is
and
real
we'll be
over
ready
here.
to
Since arriving at the spacecraft,
launch,
Bob
which
and
would be
Doug were helped by our
interesting.
closeout engineers
Just
to
doing
get
a couple
into
of
their seats,
configuration
attach their
things
suits
over
to
here. Don't
special
mind me.
umbilicals that provide breathing air, pressurized nitrox, and a communications link to Dragon systems. They conducted leak checks, which were successful, and communications checks with the Corps here in Hawthorne, which is the person who will speak to them directly throughout
They've
the
been
mission,
doing their safety
as well
checks.
as the launch director in Florida. This is where they are checking their comm path through both ground stations and the
So you
tracking
think
and data
aliens are
relay
real?
satellites
I
that
think
we'll
so.
use to talk to the crew the entire way to the
I
station.
think we'll be a
And
little
after all of those suit leak checks.
I think we'll be a little full of ourselves if we think we're the only beings in this whole universe, you know? That's thinking kind of highly of ourselves, you know? I surely think that there's other beings out there. Now whether they've been here or not, I don't know. You know? But it would be funny if we like went out into the universe and like discovered a planet of just like intelligent elephants or some shit like that, right? That'll blow people's minds. Nobody ever thought like, what if we discover a planet of elephants that can like talk and shit, you know? Like, fuck y'all doing here? Go on, smack you with their trunks a little bit, grab you up. Who are you? Why'd you come to my planet? And got you hooked up with his trunk. Oh, that would be really funny and scary at the same time, you know? Impale you with his tusk. We've heard about you humans. You've taken out tusks and used it for decorations in your house. Waiting on Blessed Serenity to check in. Waiting on Be Ready. I guess they wasn't ready. But they should be checked in shortly. I'm gonna be having I'm gonna open up some phone lines in a little while. Actually, you know, I want to hear what y'all think about this launch.
Space station.
Is it really some historic shit, or you just making a big deal out of some
Send it back. International Space Station team.
some
here
regular
is
shit
ready for
nowadays? You
launch.
know,
Go Falcon 9, go Dragon, and Godspeed to Bob and Doug.
it's like I like technology.
All right,
You
thanks,
know?
Gary. If
I don't.
you
I'm
are
not.
just now joining us, you picked a really good time.
I'm not super
We're just
impressed.
a little over an hour to launch. And
It's
welcome
like
to our coverage for the mission
it's
known
cool,
as
but it's not
Demonstration
like
Mission 2
impressing me
or
like
Demo 2.
like these people.
Liftoff time still holding for 3:22 p.m.
It's gonna
Eastern.
launch.
Tracking no issues with Falcon 9 or
No,
Dragon.
I'm fascinated
Everything
by
good
it, but
with the
I'm
range
just
so
not
far.
like.
We're just really keeping an eye on that weather.
This is the greatest
Over the
thing
last
ever.
3 hours, our crew members,
cool.
Doug Hurley and Bob Bankin,
The greatest thing ever would be like no racism, you know, and black people can walk the streets and
After that,
not get
walked out of crew
fucked up
quarters,
and
just
shot by
as
police.
every astronaut
That would
to
be the
fly
greatest
from
thing ever.
space from
This is cool
port
though.
Has done since
You know?
Apollo 7. And then they were transported over to the pad where the crew members entered the SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft that we're looking in live.
I wonder how it
Today is
feels
a
to just be able to just
historic
sit there
launch. It
knowing
will be the first time a commercially
that
built
you're about to
spacecraft will launch
have this
people
fucking
into
rocket
orbit,
shot
and the
up
first
your
time the US has
ass
sent
into
people to the
space.
space station from American soil since 2011 with the retirement of the space shuttle program. Over the next hour, we
Been
will
since
conduct
2011,
a series of polls to get ready
what,
for launch. Have
9
Bob
years?
and Doug arm the launch escape system and begin fueling Falcon 9. Launch is set for 3:22 p.m. Eastern. This will include a 12-minute flight to
3:22?
orbit and then a 19-hour flight to dock with the International Space Station tomorrow
19-hour
morning.
flight.
Today's mission is the culmination of years of work between teams at SpaceX and NASA.
You know what's crazy?
Demo
This
2's
dude
gonna
looked
be an
like he's
end-to-end
frozen.
flight
It looks
test
like the
starting
shot
with
is
this
frozen.
launch today, going
But
out
the
to
shot
dock
is
at
not
the space
frozen,
station
you
tomorrow,
know?
and then splashing down at the end of their mission.
The shot is not
The
frozen.
final test for
That
NASA
shot
to
is not
certify
frozen. He's
SpaceX
just
for
sitting
regular
there.
crew flights to the space station.
We've been
His suit is keeping him stuck. You ever seen you ever seen the Christmas Story? And they put the winter clothes on and they got ready and the kid said, "I can't put my arms down."
Follow all the milestones still ahead on the
That's how he looked.
display
He looked like he
panels
couldn't put his
just
arms down.
above them,
Look.
getting insight into all Dragon and Falcon 9 systems as we proceed towards
So now they're gonna
launch.
be sitting there for the next hour and a
So
half like
at
this.
T-minus 1 hour and 13 minutes.
So wait,
Let's check in
no,
with
they're gonna be
John
sitting like this for
I
the next
for a
hour and a
status
half. Then they're
update
gonna
on
be
the
blasted
vehicles.
off.
What's
They're
the
gonna be
update,
flying
John?
back. They're gonna be sitting like this.
Thanks, Jesse.
And then they're gonna be like this for the next 19 hours.
To add to what Dan and Jesse just brought up, we've had a smooth
19
countdown
hours,
this
yeah.
afternoon. SpaceX team is working.
Being an
no
astronaut
issues as the
sounds
base
cool
begins
until
to
you
pick up
actually
here in the
think
last
about
70 minutes.
everything you got to do and all the
On
boring
Falcon
things
9,
that
we
happen just
did,
to do
get
something
the
cool for a
team
short
on
time.
console.
That's
Earlier,
a lot
you
of
heard
shit.
the comm checks between the responsible engineers and the crew. The engineers will
And
be
then
making
all people
calls
want to
on
talk to you about is
ESA
space
for the
shit.
crew's benefit, so they want to make sure that they could hear them before we go. The propulsion checkouts of the first and second stages are beginning right now. We're watching them begin to go through the process.
They're getting
opening
ready to
valves.
begin.
That
Go through the
check will
process.
go for about another 10
Just
minutes,
repeating whatever the hell he
and
just
that'll
said.
be
I'm
our
gonna shut
last
up and let him
one
talk. Not
until
listen to him.
propellant loading. Now, the team will assess readiness for launch with a final go/no-go poll at T-minus 45 minutes, and that'll be followed by propellant loading starting at T-minus 35
Okay.
minutes.
T-minus
Now,
45
earlier
minutes.
today,
That's when we're
Dragon
gonna find
operators
out
also
whether
performed a
they're
series
gonna
of
blast
checkouts
this
with
thing
Dragon's
off
flight
or they're gonna
system.
say, nah,
The
yo, it
spacecraft
ain't looking
is
good,
also
you know?
currently go for launch.
So
Our NASA crew, astronauts Doug Hurley
we got
and Bob
about
Beacon are currently inside
40
Dragon.
minutes?
The hatch is
No?
closed.
About
The
30
SpaceX
minutes?
ground crew has left the tower.
No?
The
Yeah,
next major
something like
event
that.
for Dragon
We got a little bit of
is the
time
retracted
before they say,
crew
yo,
access arm that you can see
this
currently
rocket ship
alongside
is
the
not
capsule.
going
That'll
nowhere.
happen somewhere
But don't look like a
between
dickhead, though.
T-45 and
Don't look like they about to shoot a
T-42
dickhead into space.
Now the range is currently clear for launch from historic
And then,
Camp
I'm telling you,
39A.
they
The
shoot a
worldwide
dickhead into
network of
space,
ground
and
stations
then when
and
it hits,
tracking
it's
and
like,
data relay
I'm
satellites
telling
are
you,
ready to support
when
Dragon
you think
as it
about it,
heads into orbit.
it's like the Earth
The weather,
busting a
that's
nut
the
on a
one
space station.
concern.
Two
We
white
will
guys
get a
jump out.
weather brief at T-minus 1 hour,
Hey,
so just under
you know?
12 minutes from now. Currently, the
But we
Dragon
got
and
Blessed
Apollo
Serenity
2
checking
engine
in.
go, so that's one
You
thing
know,
that we
let's
can check is green.
check in with Miss
At
Blessed
the,
Serenity over here.
current time, we
You know,
did
see
have
how
some
she's
rain
doing
early
today.
That appears to have let up, but we are
Uh,
red on conditions for both
Having some technical difficulties of my own here. My laptop just won't let me be great, so I couldn't figure out how to log on and shit. But I'm
Miss
here.
Blessed Serenity, how are you doing today? You doing good?
Doing good.
Good, good, good,
I'm
good.
hoping this actually happens, but judging by how dark the sky is, I'm kind of feeling it won't.
I know it's a bit scary that it might not happen, you know, because yeah, the dark skies out there, man.
Like
you know.
This would be the second scrub, right? If they
Yes.
do that.
Yeah.
You know what? Better safe than sorry. This is a pretty big deal. I don't know if YouTube land out there, I don't know if y'all know how big of a deal this is, but this is expensive as fuck. One, but
they
yeah,
rich, really.
we
They
gotta.
really.
It's first time having American astronauts going out in a long time, so
I wonder if
they,
they
they
have
got to make it up
insurance for
there.
this. Do they have is there insurance for this? Probably not, right? In case it rains,
I'm pretty
on our
sure they
spaceships
do.
insurance.
I'm
You
pretty
know?
sure they do.
In case it rains on our spaceship and we wasted $5 billion insurance, they got that. That's how much this costs to do, right? Something like that. Give or take
Whatever
a
it is,
couple
I'm pretty
billion.
sure that's a lot cheaper than it used to cost us to get the Russians to go out there. So what was it, like 80 million or something like that?
Something like that. I'm not sure. You know.
I'm
But
over here trying to log on to my
how's your
Zoom
week been now?
on the laptop because I'm on my phone right now and I can't figure out how to do that. So
your laptop doesn't want to be friendly with you?
At all. Like, I'm so good to it and it's like join a meeting and I can't figure out how to get in. So
Well, you wasn't connected with your laptop earlier?
Send me a way to get in through my laptop. Yeah, because
It's the same.
through
It's the
Zoom.
same link. It's the same link. The same link.
How am I going to access that link? I don't.
You just type it
The
in
link
your
is on my
browser.
phone.
You just type it. It's kharyscrib.com.
Okay. You're not understanding what I'm saying, but it's cool. We'll figure this out.
Okay.
Telling you, I'm so not tech savvy. That's why I'd rather talk about shit like what's going on today. I can talk about that. All this other shit. Listen, I just turned my camera around. I don't even know how I did it. Okay. So, okay, what have I missed so far? Because I have not been able to, I'm over here dealing with
Not much.
technology.
We've
and
just
I haven't
been
been log in. Did I miss anything?
No, just been listening to them talk about some of NASA stuff. They
Docking and
wanna
remains attached to the Crew Dragon spacecraft, and that's unlike
talk
the
about going to. They was talking about going to the moon. Not sure why they want to go to the moon again, but they was talking about it.
What you mean why? I'm not sure it ever happened, but we're not gonna go down that
Okay.
rabbit hole.
Okay.
We're not gonna do that.
Okay. Assuming that it did happen, why would we want to go back? For what?
What you mean for what? Okay, first of all, let's start off with the fact that for the first time ever, I mean, as if we didn't know already, but the Pentagon finally admitted in the midst of this pandemic that UFOs are real, right? And that obviously there's life outside of this planet. So if I can check out one
No, they didn't admit that there's life outside of this planet. They admitted that there was an unidentified flying object. They didn't admit that it was alien. Very different.
Okay, did
Very
they say
different.
it was a meteor? Did
What's
they
that?
say it was? What did they say it was? I know.
They
What
just
is
said
a UFO?
An
It's a
unidentified
fucking
flying
spaceship, right?
object.
And
No,
who
it's
flies
not
spaceships?
necessarily a spaceship.
Aliens, right?
It's not necessarily a spaceship. It could be anything flying that you can't identify. It could be a fucking
If
dragon.
you really think
It could be a
that
dragon.
it was a rock that they saw and they just threw. Nigga,
It could have been. It
just
could
like
have been
I
a
know
mythical
what the
dragon
fuck a
from the Game
UFO
of
is.
Thrones universe
We all know
that
what a
flew into
UFO
our
is.
universe, and that is a dragon flying around the skies. And it's not an alien. It's just from a different dimension from Game of Thrones universe that popped into ours. That could be an
Okay,
unidentified
and
flying
who
object.
drives
It's not
said
necessarily. It's not
dragon in
necessarily
the
an
sky?
alien. I'm just saying. Anything could be an unidentified flying object. It doesn't necessarily have to be an alien to be an unidentified flying object. That's what I believe it. I believe
I'm
there's
gonna let
aliens,
you.
but I'm not saying that the government is saying that that's an alien. The government's just saying that that's unidentified. They're not saying that's some alien motherfuckers
Okay.
out there. So watch your back.
So
Grab your gat.
let's use deductive reasoning, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that exactly they were taught? Do you
I think you froze, and I think that it could be anything. It could be It could be a foreign government's flying technology that we just like, yo. Okay, you're back. I was talking to myself, I think. I'm not sure. Unmute.
I'm talking to myself, just like you were talking to
Okay.
yourself. My bad.
Okay.
Technology is just not agreeing with me today. I'm still trying to figure out how to connect my laptop to make this work. But anyway, we can sit here and play devil's advocate and assume that they were simply talking about something that was outside of our atmosphere, just flying.
It wasn't
But we can
outside of
also
our
use-
atmosphere, though. It was within our atmosphere.
Okay, just like most spaceships are when they come here and visit and probably, update our DNA or something while we sleep. Listen, all I'm saying is you got to have an open mind. And with all of this talk about a space force, this is new, right? This is something that had never, there have been comments of it since way back in the Kennedy times. Like, this is actually materializing now. Now we have like a whole space force.
Which
I think we need to be a little bit more open-minded when it comes to exploring things like the moon.
I'm saying
because
sounds silly.
At the rate that this planet is going, we're gonna need to move somewhere else because
I'm saying
Tampa alone is just about to get kicked off the planet. So
I'm not sure we need to fly to the moon to explore it. The moon is so close, we could just explore it from where we're at right here. You know? I think there's better things to explore. I think there's better things to explore. We can look through telescopes and see planets that are in fucking different solar systems, and say, you know what? That planet's very Earth-like.
Is getting a first-hand experience of what that's like.
I'm saying we can say with very good accuracy from what they say that is very good accuracy that planet that is 75 million light years away looks like it's very Earth-like. I just pulled that number out my ass. I'm not sure if it's that far away, but they say with pretty good accuracy that you froze again, didn't you? Yes, you did. Oh, and she's back.
I'm telling you, this is terrible. I'm so sorry. Still trying to figure this out. But I missed the last of what you said. My point is, it's not the same to sit here and look at, for example, it's not the same to look at a postcard of Key West than to actually be there and, like walk and touch and be like, oh, this is this is dope in pictures. But it's so different to actually be there. Plus, think about it. Like, how outside of what we know to be the realm of our reality
Key West is cool, but I'd rather go to Africa. Key West is cool, but you know what? Let's go explore Africa. That's the moon and the rest of the universe.
Okay.
The moon. The rest of
I see where you're going with that. I see where you're going with that.
Because we're so close to the moon. There's quite a lot of money
that is invested into these discoveries.
We can see so much of the moon and understand so much of the moon. Yeah, that's what I think. Just my opinion, but I don't know shit. I'm just a guy with some headphones on talking into a camera. That's it, really. But we got Be Ready Poetry over here checking in.
What's the deal, man? I'm back. I got a good signal. Miss Bless, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. I hear y'all talking about the moon, other what you say, a planet that's what you say 75 million light years away that look like Earth, man.
Why not?
I believe it is, man. I think it's crazy to sit here and think that we are the only life beings in the universe where we're just a speck of dust on the astrology map. We're a speck of dust. You know what I mean? So I think it is other life out there. I think it's a lot of stuff that we don't know that's relevant information that I think people should kind of know. And because right now, our planet is off the hooks right now. Tell me it's not. You got
it is.
Weather crazy all over.
I don't know about off the hook. And I don't know if that's a good thing because in the state of our planet right now, listen.
But and our planet is heating up at an alarming rate that we can't even. So you telling me Antarctica got greenhouse gases and it hit 60 degrees this past year? They ain't down there. We ain't got a bunch of cars down there in Antarctica putting stuff into the atmosphere to raise the temperature. So don't tell me this goddamn global warming bullshit. Like, this is my theory. I think we are in a binary star system. Like, and we're in rotation with another star that's like I would say like a sister star to our sun. And every so many thousand years, we get close to it, and the poles change. And I just figure it did this plenty of times. Think about it: the Ice Age, the Atlantis period, all the way up to now. It's always been workers of a great flood and all this stuff. But what caused all this? What caused it is the question. And I feel like if we get close to another celestial body that has a greater gravitational pull than our planet, it can mess up our planet gravitational pull and shift the pole just like 2 or 3 degrees. And we talking about if we shift 2 or 3 degrees on the planet, that can do everything in chaos. So that's what I really think is going on. Because
Any solutions?
Oh no, ain't no solutions. The thing is, there's no stopping this. You have to face the inevitable. So the thing is, it's just to get to know God, go closer with Him, and become pure, and live pure. That's my only, like, you can't stop it. So,
Khary, what's your take on that?
What you think?
I think my phone rang and my kid's mom's called me. And I told her I had to
call her back. Man. That's what I'm talking about, man.
Conversation over here.
Oh man, hey, when the baby moms call, you gotta, hey, bro, I feel you. When the baby moms call, you gotta, yo, what's up? I got you, man. That's real.
I know you was talking about gravitational pulls and poles changing and shit.
It started there.
Yeah, but what was the end? What was the end of it?
No, I was saying that, like, the end of it is that we're getting closer to this other celestial body that caused cataclysms on the Earth, and it's showing by like all of the havoc that's going on the Earth, earthquakes, tsunamis. Man, we didn't even have a winter this past winter. There wasn't a winter. It was just like the temperature dropped probably like 3 or 4 degrees, maybe. But it was like it felt like spring all year. You know what I'm saying? The grass never stopped growing. Everything stayed green. We don't even know what part of the year they're right now. We don't even know if you go by the weather.
Yeah, the weather isn't going to tell.
Like, yeah, you don't know what it is. So that's why I think it's a celestial body that's causing it. And that's the only thing that could cause it. That I feel. Like, according to, you know what I'm saying, gravitational pulls and pole shifting. And that's the only thing that can make the pole shift. That's it. That's what I think, So I just tell people to get closer to God, learn to vibrate on a higher level, so you know what I'm saying? So you don't even have to worry about this physical plane.
Okay. I see the science behind that one right there. I'm not sure how long it was.
Go check it out. Don't check me for anything.
I looked a little bit of it up. I Googled some of it. I'm a big Googler,
Okay.
Great googly moogly. I be Googling all the time,
And yeah, and make sure when you look up the dog star Sirius. I know y'all done probably heard of Sirius A and Sirius B.
And
I know y'all done heard of those. I hear that's where we from anyway.
Listen, I
hear that's where we
fell
from
into this
anyway.
rabbit hole the other day, and it's so crazy because I feel like it's all I've been talking about. But it kind of explored the possibility of. Do you remember how? I mean, we're all old enough where we vividly remember 2012, and
oh yeah,
the end of the world was supposed to be 2012. There were documentaries. They were supporting.
There's only 5 years left.
That movie had everybody paranoid. Don't trip. That movie had everybody nervous.
I'm trying to tell you. Here's the crazy part, right? I fell into this rabbit hole where they were exploring the possibility of the Mandela effect and how at some point maybe we, there was maybe a shift in consciousness where we were extracted, from where we are now and put into this other parallel universe because Earth itself, through, I don't know, the particle effect, to look into Stephen Hawking's and his whole belief, but somehow we ended up getting absorbed and falling in through this vacuum hole where we are all we know. But outside of us, there is thriving life everywhere else. So,
but like
all of
the
that I
thing
think is
is,
worth exploring.
oh man, the thing is, it's thriving life beyond this, but people don't want to believe it because they're bound by. I hate that they bound by their religions. That's not going to allow them to even accept any thought of another life form being outside of our universe or another beings. You know what I mean? Or
And I mean,
having a
while I
parallel
understand
universe.
that, I'm not uber religious, right? I will admit to that. I'm highly spiritual, but I'm not uber religious. I believe that religion was formed as a way to control the masses. So
Yeah.
of course we live in
like that.
America where there really is no
Facts.
separation of church and state. So we really can't expect
None
there to be
whatsoever.
separation of religion and anything else. But if
got
we
you.
take religion outside of this, I mean, if we can, I don't think an individual can, because it's all based on how you grew up and what your belief system was growing up. If you believe that we came from Adam and Eve and that God is the one that placed us here, and we all have a path, and there's only Earth, and we're the only ones that exist because we're that special. That's one viewpoint.
Yeah.
I extract myself from the usage of science and merging it with religion because I think that it's kind of hard to admit the possibility of one entirely without the other. So I don't know. I think that happens a lot. And I think that at some point we're getting to a higher state of consciousness where we are being less narcissistic in a sense and less self-centered, expecting that we are the end all and be all and that there cannot be life anywhere else. Like, I think that it's a step in the right direction for the Pentagon to have said that there was an unidentified flying something. I don't care how Khary tries to dress this up. We know what it is, okay? We've seen Roswell and shit. Like,
Everybody know that shit real. We done seen Men in Black. That shit real, I believe. Man, they got the little alien dudes running around right now. Probably we don't even know it.
I believe time machines are real. I believe Nikola Tesla was onto something, and I really believe. Listen, for all we know, we just get what was that movie, Men in Black, with the little zapping.
That's why I said Men in Black.
For all we know, we forget from one life to the other what we experience. But I don't know. I think that there is a possibility that there's life somewhere else. There really were aliens, and the Pentagon just thought it was a good time to inject in there in the middle of a pandemic because nobody's really going to be paying attention. And I think that it is worth exploring the moon, Khary.
I think there's other places we could explore. I'd rather explore Mars than the moon. I tell you, it's like that postcard analogy, Postcard to Key West, but Africa's a better destination. You know?
I mean, I agree with that, but of course, I'm biased.
I'm gonna pick about you said that religion was used to control the masses. I totally agree with you in what sense, but I really think that a religion was really just designed to help people that's not spiritual tap into their spirituality side. However, they get caught up in the doctrine so much that they forget about the spirituality. And to get back, like now we're so caught up in the doctrine that we don't even go look up none of the history behind any of the doctrine. None of it. And like I think my people perish because of the lack of knowledge. And if we actually knew who we were as a people, like I hear Khary saying, let's go back to Africa. Let's go back to Africa. But I want to stay right here in America because this is where I'm
I wasn't
from.
saying let's go back to Africa. I was using an analogy.
Oh no, I'm just I got you. Yeah,
it's a better way to appropriate funds. Is what he said.
I was saying.
Facts.
I was saying instead of exploring the moon, let's go somewhere else. I used the Africa Key West analogy of I could look at a picture of Key West, you know, but she tried to say I could look at a picture of Key West, but it wouldn't beat the experience of going to Key West. And I was like, yeah, I could look at a picture of Key West and say, yeah, I'd rather go to Africa, and that's how I look at the moon and the rest of the universe.
I got you. But my fault then.
Not to cut
I
you
know
off,
you
though.
mean in that context. Well, like that's well. Anyway, let's go back to that. When people say let's go back to Africa, let's go back to our roots, but people don't even know their roots. Their roots. Like we look around, and I know y'all sitting there in Florida, and y'all know when y'all see an African versus when y'all see other, you know what I mean, nationalities. Because they have distinct African features, and everybody else around you don't really have those same African features.
Right.
We were already indigenous to America before they even came over here. We had all type of shit jumping way before they came over here. And when they came over here, they took everything from us. We wrote our history, gave it back to us, and have all of us thinking that we came from Africa and we need to go back to Africa, when really we was already over here. Y'all came over here, you know. And like I think a lot of the religions today don't really want to go back and really tell us who we are. They just give us a basic doctrine and tell us this is something that we should follow. And you know, like I say, like it says that our people came from Sirius, so we're not even of this planet. You know what I'm saying? Even the Bible says, "Be in this world, be not of it." You know what I mean? So like, hey, you're not even from here anyway. So like, why can't we know about where we really from? And what all this really ties down and mean, because the stars not in the sky for no reason. And ancients knew how to read the stars like we know how to read a book. What happened to that knowledge? You know what I'm saying? Knowing really who we are, where we come from, our roots, our spirituality, not our religion, our spirituality, our connection to God. Where did that happen? What happened to that? Like right now, it's chaos right now. All over the United States. Black people are now tired of being sat down, killed, approached, you know what I'm saying, ridiculed.
Well, we've been tired.
Just, you know, it's tired of it, you know, and everybody like, oh, do it peacefully. Like the older generation, like our parents, like they don't think, they like, man, why they doing all this? Why they riding and stuff? And in my head, I'm like, y'all talking about do it peacefully, right? We've been doing it peacefully since the 60s. And to do the same thing over and over again to expect different results is the definition of insanity. We're not insane no more. We're not insane no more. So now we gonna demand what we want now. And now it's time for our people to really know who we are versus what the fuck they done told us. It's time to take this whitewashed history of Black people and really tell these people who we are, man. If we knew who we are, we would walk around here differently. Right now, all y'all think is that we was just descendants of slaves, and that's where we started. Now, nigga, we built cities from sand. Stop playing with me. So, like, we don't know ourselves. And when you try to tell another Black person about themselves, they so caught up in this goddamn earth religion that they ain't gonna even believe you, because that's go against their faith. Oh, you blasphemous. But you don't even know where your Bible was wrote at. You don't even know who King James is, and that's the type of Bible that you read. Did you know he was Black? Nope, they told you he was a white gay man. Go look it up. People, we don't know who we are no more. That's what's wrong. But it's a conscience awakening now. Right now, we're demanding what we want. You see people riding, and it's probably gonna continue. People burning down shit. Cause now, okay, now we got y'all attention. Now it's time for us to know who we are. Fuck his story. Let's learn our story. For real,
I feel
for
you
real,
on
man.
that one.
I'm sorry, man. Y'all, that just got me hyped right there, man. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good, bro.
No,
It's all
man.
good. On that note, I think it might be time for you to perform a piece on that note.
Agreed.
You know?
Okay.
And we
All
have
right,
some interesting comments in the comments, I should say.
Oh yeah. You
and
know thyself, man. You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
read
Know
some of
thyself.
those when we get back from a little bit of poetry from Mr. Be Ready Poetry.
All right, for everybody that don't know who I am Be Ready, poetry. Check me out, man. Khary, I really appreciate this opportunity. But to everybody that don't know me, I'm gonna introduce myself to y'all, and we're gonna get right back to it. So my name is Be Ready, and it's like be ready for criticism. Poetic words to alter your visions like a stigmatism. Carpe diem. Be ready for hate, hurt, and pain. Days when it just rained, but I'm saying. I heard that if you reach towards heaven during a rainstorm, then an angel is bound to touch your hand. Be ready for life's mishaps, bumps in the road, mistakes, and heartaches. Be ready for tears. Well, that could be good or bad because you just don't cry when you're sad. Be ready for love and passion. But I think love is the trendy fashion, like rocking Jabot jeans with the straps and thinking you swagging. Be ready for punchlines from a lyrical mindset and then poetic lines spitting like life is a movie, but it's played in reverse. These deja vu visions prove this thing gets rehearsed. They say you're destined to die from the day of your birth. Understand that life is a blessing, but sometimes living's the curse. Be ready for stormy nights. Nights I grab my pen and write, still hearing willow weeps when none are even in sight. Be ready for letdowns, times no friends around, probably when you need them most. Be ready for your mind to go blank on the stage, mind in the maze, like staring to rain clouds trying to find sun rays. Be ready for an emotional trip. Your feelings just can't catch grip. You gotta admit to yourself that, well, sometimes a play a slip. Be ready to laugh, be ready to cry, and since we all here living, I guess you gotta be ready to die. Cause I ain't know I was gonna have to shed tears, but they told me to be ready. And sometimes you gotta face your fears, but you gotta be ready. And all the time where they feel the ink out of this pen, but I gotta be ready. And sometimes you're not ready for love to end, but you gotta be ready. And sometimes you gotta walk alone, but you gotta be ready. And when you feel our hope is gone, just hold steady and clench to your faith like Berettis until it pop like Fetty. Cause people in the graveyard said it wasn't their time, but they had to be ready. You might have some sleepless nights, but you gotta be ready. You might have to argue, forth, and fight, but you gotta be ready. Or question why the one I love is in my life, but you gotta be ready. Or why all this bad stuff keep happening to me and I'm living right, but you gotta be ready. And sometimes you might not have no words to write, but I was prepared for that because I rocked this mic steady. Mic check, mic check. And I said all that to say that be ready. I'm ready, man. Let's roll.
Yes. Go on, poet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? I still
That's
love
what's
smoking
up.
world. Y'all know what kind of tea that is. Y'all see
Gunshots, air horns, all that.
Oh,
one
yes.
time,
you know?
Proud of every testimony.
Yes.
Yeah. One time for the one time. You feel me?
Yes, rocking the proud of every testimony tee that you can get from Smoking
with
Words,
the
SmokingWords.com,
B
by
on
the
it.
way.
You feel me?
You know? That was dope. That was dope.
Man.
That was dope. I
Appreciate
just took
you,
a
man.
look at the
Appreciate you, man.
I just took a look
That was amazing.
at the
Closed visors and arm launch escape system.
they're getting ready. They just pulled off from the
We will
pulled away from the rocket, so it looks like we are at a go. We just hit that 45-minute mark.
Man.
We are
I'm
T-minus
excited.
42.
All right,
So
the
it looks like they saying
countdown
it is going to
B,
be
do you
clear
understand how
enough for
big
this
this
to
is?
blast off.
continuing
Oh,
You know, so
man.
a million beats a second.
So we're going to be checking
and
in
we
here
are
and there. You
bro.
know, we're going to
so
be
close.
jumping back and forth. So
7.2 visors are closed. We're arming launch escape system.
let's take a call real quick. What's going on? You live with Khary and Khary's Crib. Who we got calling in? Caller? Hello, what's going on, caller? Where you calling? Where you checking in from? Can you hear me, caller? Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Looks like he hung up on us.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh well. Looks like he hung up. I heard him. You know what? Maybe
I heard
it
the
was
hello
my
and then we
fault.
lost them.
Yeah, maybe it was my fault. Maybe I didn't
I
have
don't
the
know.
proper microphone set up for him or something like that. But if you want to call back, caller, go ahead, give us a call back. I just made sure the proper mic was connected. I heard you saying hello. Guess you couldn't really hear what I was saying, but I heard you. So if you call back in, I'll take your call and we can talk. I think I got it situated here. I'm still getting this all together.
Oh, yeah, hit us up. What's up?
But that was definitely a dope one by Mr. Be Ready Poetry. Where can they find you
I
at now?
appreciate that.
They can
Appreciate
find
that.
you on Instagram at what's your Instagram?
Oh yeah, it's at Be Ready Poetry. B under ready. B underscore. I said be under ready. Oh yeah. That's crazy right there, right? I'm gonna have to use that. I'm gonna use that. You're gonna hear that again. Yeah, it's B underscore ready poetry.
Okay,
You know
cool,
what I'm
cool.
saying? Follow me. I follow back. I'm that person that follow back. You know what I mean? I'm not that person. I'm not that person that's gonna follow you. You follow me, and I wait to be like, okay, I just want to get my follow game up. Nah, I'm gonna follow you back.
334.
Oh,
Where you
man.
checking in from? I think we
I
got our
can't hear
caller
you, man.
back.
I'm not even gonna lie. I think it's you, dog.
You can't hear
I'm
me?
gonna see if I can talk to somebody. I'm a message. I message Bless. Maybe I can figure something out.
That's a shame that you can't hear me. No.
What did he say?
He said he couldn't hear me.
I'm checking.
What was
I'm
he
not
talking?
sure.
Oh, that was. Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. Wanted to perform, I think.
Ah, yeah.
It says a message. I don't have any messages, so whoever you are, please let me know what platform somehow.
So it was B underscore ready.
Wait. Could we? I've never heard her before, and I know she's a Smoking Word affiliate, and I know this, and I've never heard you bless them. I'm sorry if I don't want to break protocol or anything. I just want to hear her spit.
Nah, it's
I'm
fine.
gonna perform a little something. I'm gonna perform in the wake of everything that's been going on as of late. It's crazy. I don't feel that we get a chance to recover from the outrage of one of our own being hurt, killed, in some way, shape, or form, being in the media.
Yeah.
Before we get hit with something else. So
Facts.
I'm gonna recite a piece that's very personal to me. It's called Black Barrels and White Faces. I actually wrote this 2 years ago, and
cool.
It's insane how relevant it still is, and it's scary how, as a mother of 2 boys, I don't see it being any less scary as the years go by, not at the rate that we're going. So I'm gonna perform that in a little bit, a little later.
Let's do this. Let's go.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to hearing that one. So I think I got it correctly. I updated your name on the header. It's B underscore ready poetry.
Yes, sir.
All right. Got you. I got you updated there. All right. And
I told you I follow back too, man.
So we're about 37 minutes away from we're about 37 minutes away from the launch. And it looks like I got Jay King. Looks like I got Jay King entering the green room. I think Jay King entered the green room. We're gonna see if we can get Jay King up in here and see if we could get I think he wants to join the open mic and spit some poetry for us.
Spit something.
Okay. What's the deal, bro?
Let's see here. We got your audio connected.
I thought.
Justin, can you hear me? We can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can see him, but I can't hear him.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
Let's make sure.
We'll probably be out there around about 2:30, 3.
Yeah. Go ahead on the bottom corner. Make sure you connected your audio.
Yeah, when you're on your phone, it's weird, bro.
Yeah, you
It's
got to
weird.
connect your audio.
Listen.
That's why I had to hit you this morning. I'm glad I hit you this morning and did that, bro. Cause I'm like, man, I can't hear you.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
What's good with you, brother?
I'm good, man. How you been?
I'm doing good, man. How you been? It's been a
I've
while.
been all right, man. It has been a minute, dog. How you been, though? I'm glad.
I've been
I'm
all
good
right,
to
man.
see
I've been
you.
all right. I've been all right. It's good to see you too, man. It's been a minute, you know?
Fancy setup, I see. Ooh.
Trying something new,
ahead,
trying
bud.
something different, you know? Trying to do something over
Yes,
here.
sir.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we got a little while, about 30 minutes before they launch this rocket into space. You know, see how this goes. You know?
Take off.
You know, so what's up? You
Gonna
wanted
be
to
interesting to say the least.
you wanted to do something today? You wanted to spit something today, or you wanted to join in on the conversation?
I kind of wanted to join in on the conversation because I think it's a lot
Okay.
going on today.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
Join.
yes.
Yes.
You are
Yes.
correct.
Let's
You
go
are
get a
correct.
drink while y'all start this up.
No, man.
What happened to her spitting something? We gonna come back to that.
Yeah, she's gonna spit something today. We're gonna get her to spit something. You know?
Yeah. I'm just,
Oh, I came in at the wrong time. I almost got it.
yeah.
Mm.
Straight up. Let's go.
Let's see.
But no, I think this is important. I'm not gonna lie. It's probably like, to be honest, because I was tuning in earlier. You said something about the moon. Like, why is it so important that we go to the moon? And I was thinking about it, and I was, it makes a lot of sense because, in my opinion, I think the moon was a dead star. I think the moon's just a dead star. I think that the moon's a dead star, but it has some sort of like power over the Earth, right? And so the only reason I feel like that is because, like, they say if the moon goes away, like, it controls like the tidal waves and like the
Tide,
gravity,
yeah.
some part.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I could believe that. I could see it. But I'm not so concerned about the moon so much as I was just talking to my homeboy. He said, what about the dark side of the moon? What's on the other side? What about what exists? Because
That's that unknown.
I got excited because I was like, this is stuff I think about on a daily basis anyways. I'm already like wired to even to think like that. So maybe what if there is like a, we haven't been back to the moon because we couldn't go back. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, you think somebody said,
Like,
yo,
yeah.
y'all need to get the fuck out of here and never come back again? You think it was something like that?
Think about it. Like saying earlier, they said the government announces that we have and okay, so we saying this just now?
Yeah,
And
man,
so
they been new about this shit, man. Come on.
I think it was all by design, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Because we, like, I don't know. I sit back and I think about it, and once again, Khary, you were right. Who are we to really think that we're the only species of like sentient life, that exists? And that goes back to like even that conversation y'all was talking about with exploring Mars, right? So let's say we did go back to Mars, which I believe that Mars was actually they found water on Mars, traces of water on Mars, which would mean that I guess you could say like there was life on Mars at one point. I think, and this is just me, when I was watching videos on YouTube and stuff, that I came across a story about how they had that saying that men are from Mars and then women are from Venus or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the story it says that the men of Mars essentially went to war with each other over the women, which in turn they fled Mars, then went to Venus. Meanwhile, on Mars, they destroyed it because it was like a nuclear war that happened, which is why there's like no water left. It's less much. Right? And the women, when they went to Venus, some way, somehow, maybe something went wrong over there, and then they shot themselves. They went from planet to planet, I guess you could say, right? Then they end up coming to Earth. Now, when you come to Earth, everything we see is perceived as a asteroid or like, whatever, right? So during that time, when the asteroid hit, that was the asteroid that destroyed the dinosaurs. We could have very well been the asteroid. They say a meteor came and destroyed all the dinosaurs or whatever, right?
I get what you're saying.
We existed before we even knew we existed. And then what ended up happening was when we came to Earth or whatever, we obviously we didn't get it the first go. I don't think we got it the first go. Cause like we sent them and then like they called back and was like, hey yo, there's a bunch of big ass lizards out here. Y'all need to handle this. And then we got rid of the dinosaurs. And then after that, we started to like terraform the Earth or whatever. And then that's when they talked about they said the first thing that the caveman invented was the wheel. But then as we know it, and actually you can look at a Breakfast Club interview actually. Minister Louis Farrakhan, he said that he had interacted with the wheel, which would mean that it can't just be a piece of stone or something like that. I think it was actually technology at one point in time. And like I said,
it was actually what?
That we were ahead of. I think we had time we even knew it because look at between 2000, like let's say 10,000.
You're kind of breaking up.
Oh my bad. Can you hear me now?
A little something.
Okay. We'll say, look back at 10,000 BC. They say we came from sticks and stones. Right? Then we advanced all the way to 2020 now. And we're, once again, like I said, touching back on this one, we're sending somebody millions of miles into the sky to somewhere we've never been before. How is the technology advanced that fast? There must have been. That's why I feel like the wheel was never something ancient per se. I think we already had the technology. We just had people get a hold of it before, and then we just kind of like siphoned it off as time progressed. Because 2010, you know what I mean? We got Bluetooth. Before that, it was like basic MP3 functionality in 2000. You know what I mean? Like I was born right around the time of like that technological advancement or whatever. So I don't know. It's just a whole lot to grasp at one point in time. So I think it's very highly possible that this might be a turning point for humanity in the sense of discovering something. So that's what I got on that.
This launch?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So this could definitely be historic and not just people having fun with their money and sending shit into space.
I mean, we've been doing that for years. We've been having fun with our money for years. So that's ain't that new. But I think this might be I'm not gonna say the biggest thing. I think it's gonna be big. They have I guess you could say down by or anything like that. Right? So they did this. Go ahead.
Say that last part again. You kind of broke up.
I was saying that they have the on a blank check. So how do we know that when they get up there they walk to the dark side of that moon, and they might tell us something that we've never known before. As scary as it might be. So there's no telling.
Yeah.
It's just
Correct.
kind of what are you willing to accept? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Interesting thoughts.
So
Interesting thoughts.
I definitely, I have to agree with Justin.
Oh yeah.
But then again, I see where you're coming from, Khary. Could this money be appropriated in a different way to focus on the issues that we have here on planet Earth, where we are living? Could we be
He's trying to get
exploring,
away.
places that we haven't explored, including places in Africa? But then again, are we as humans at this point where we can explore without destroying? I don't know if we're there yet. At the
Yeah,
rate
we can't
that
explore without destroying.
clearly not. So I mean,
Humanity is itself a plague in a
for
way.
sure. Is it
In a way.
is it rich people just playing with money? Maybe, but it is historical. Even if it is, a lot of discoveries were made because people just wanted to go out there and see what else they could explore, what else they could discover. And everybody wants to be the first at doing that. We're not even going to get into the race, to space, which was such an old point term. Like Russia and America have been at this forever. So it's a big deal for America. It's a big deal historically. That we're doing this. It's never been done before. And then if I missed the part of the conversation where you were mentioning the spacesuits made by Tesla. I haven't seen them, but as a person who avidly follows the stock market and has a deep rooted love for Tesla, not necessarily it's rep. I think Elon Musk is probably some sort of AI that has come over to take over the world, but whatever. It's listen, that's weird. I'm sorry. You say whatever you want. He is definitely forward thinking, but he's out there. He probably came from out there. So you know what? I think it's worth exploring. I think we're gonna learn a lot from this. How much of what actually transpires out there are we gonna get back in real time? Who knows? Is this the best moment to be doing this? I mean, it's a damn good distraction from everything else that's going on, which is another thing
everybody can watch it.
Right, which is another thing that we need to think about. Like, yeah, this is pretty big, and there are definitely a lot of eyes, on this right now. But what else?
I wonder what they're gonna see.
What are we being distracted from now?
I think the Earth is running out of resources, so we have to find new resources. That's why I think we're so big on the space exploration, because I don't think that it's about us. I think it's about them, because it's like, where are we gonna go? Because I don't know, like how long do fossil fuels last? How long does any of this, what we got right now, how long will any of this last really? You know what I mean?
But I mean, not to plug Tesla, but when you have people like them that are taking things like that into consideration and are doing away with the idea of even needing fossil fuel.
Yeah.
That is of course in competition with what drives America, which we all know is oil. So it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out. But is it driven by money hungry people? Of course. Is it going to benefit us in general? I think so. It's still hysterical. I mean, it is hysterical and historical. I think so. So,
but it was screening
what
people.
happens?
I'm sorry. They were screening people to send to Mars like a few years ago. But then a lot of the people they picked, it was like, people that they were like socially awkward people. It's like a questionnaire. You know what I mean? Like people that was like, I don't want to live with anybody. And then they wanted to send them to Mars, and then pretty much they wanted to terraform Mars, and build like the space domes and all of that. So, I mean, I feel like this is a direction, possibly. I mean, because like I said, this is just for me, because like I said, we don't know how long Earth is guaranteed to last. We don't know that. So maybe they're trying to.
He broke up. I didn't hear him.
I don't know, Disneyland in the movie. Who knows?
Disneyland.
Oh, you never know. You never know.
What about Booty? Can you hear us?
Yeah. You hear me?
Shoot, I can hear me hearing you us.
We have a new guest to join, Rudy. Well, were you in the comments, Rudy? Were you in the comments?
Huh?
Were you in the comments a little while ago?
I was, yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Me and my boy Chaz, we was in the comments. He was trying to figure out also along with me like how to get in. Cause I was like, I never been like when I saw that it was on YouTube, I was like, I didn't know that it was a link that'll bring you to Zoom. I was like, okay, I got Zoom. Okay.
Yeah. So I got it hooked up to where people can connect and actually join in and things like this. I kind of like this better than Instagram because Instagram, it's like once it's done, it's done. You can't go back to it, you know? And there could be some useful information and things like that, you know? Useful information, good poetry, good performances, you know? Why not have something that you can keep and possibly share later, you know? So that's why I chose this platform.
No doubt. I like it. I really like it. What's going on, y'all?
What's going on, man?
All right.
So you're gonna bless us with some insight on this really controversial, clearly topic, or you're gonna bless us with some poetry? Because we here for all of it.
Hey, we want
I got some
all the
poetry.
smoke. Well, hey, you know I'm ready for that. Let's go. I stay hyped for that.
Yeah, come
some poetry.
Off of me because I'm feeling hella pressured right now. So I need another.
Yes, Martha. Yes, Martha.
Oh yeah, you know.
Hey, yo, listen, like I'm nowhere. Look, you guys are great. Y'all got the whole memorization lockdown and all that. Me, I'm not there yet. You know, but
ain't no definition, man. Let's go, man. Let's go. Turn up, bro.
All right. All right.
This.
So this piece is, you know, based on, you know, the recent stuff that's been going on in the news, you know, with the whole cops and killing of George Floyd and everything like that. So I wrote this yesterday. It's called Televised Trauma.
Okay.
Now, what you want us to do? Is this another win for the boys in the blue? Stealing the air from another black man as his face starts turning blue? We singing the blues. On the television, it's disturbing watching the news. It's reruns. Nothing here that we witnessing is new. It seems like everything we do is a crime. My complexion really got you threatened? You supposed to protect and serve, but nobody's being protected but yourselves while we getting served on the curve. We using knees for necks while our mouths staying curved, gasping for air, projecting our last words. But you don't care. You'll probably get a raise this year. Meanwhile, your record is worse than the person that you're arresting. I want to know why you so scared, but so quick to kill. I don't understand your fear. All I have is my bare hands, but in front of me, there's weapons everywhere. And my voice is the only weapon I got. And it just seems like if I use it, I'll get shot. But I get it. You're just doing your duty. Go ahead, take a life. At least your pension will be right? The consequences you'll face is probably be death's duty. Can you understand why this is raising my pulse? Because it's another case that you're gonna say wasn't your fault? Oh, I guess I don't know the backstory. Oh, yes, we do, because it's the black story. Do me a favor, all the people you kill, bring them back for me. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't do that for me. At least you get to wear a vest to protect your chest. Let me guess, George would have been here if he had something to protect his neck. Do I sound incorrect? Do you feel proud on how you earn your check? Wait, hold on a second. Feel proud on how you earn your check? Wait, hold on. It just disappeared.
You got it.
And I'm not feel proud of how you earn your check. And I'm not being funny when I'm telling you that a lot of your paydays is blood money. But when you retire, I bet you get all the glory, all the stripes, all the ceremonies while we mourn at cemeteries for those who lost their lives for being BBs. What's that? Born black, blackberries. Thanks for squeezing the juice out of me. I hope that leaves a foul taste in your mouth. This piece is for all the voices. We letting the screams out. So what you see in your TV screens is only half the trauma. The other half, It's with the lives of the ones that are in the ground. Our fathers, children, brothers, sisters, and our mamas.
Mm.
Hey,
That was good. That was legit.
For real, all of that.
Hot shit, hot shit. Yeah,
Thank you for
that
rapping
was
all the way
fire,
from New
bro.
York City. That was amazing.
That was fire, bro.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate
That's dope.
that.
Keep
Yes,
at
it
it,
was,
dog.
it
You-
was,
You got a gift, man. Keep using
Tell
it.
them, tell everybody where they can find
thank
you
you.
at. Make sure you tell
Well,
everybody where they can find you at.
You can find me on Instagram at poetry is, that's IZ, poetry IZ visual, VISUAL. So that's poetry is visual on Instagram.
Hold on. I'm gonna go follow you. You gotta follow me back.
doing it right now.
I definitely follow you back. I was
All
listening to
one
you when you were
word?
saying to follow it. You said that you follow back. Trust me. As soon as I'm off this, I'm following you.
I poetry.
Because I
what you
definitely
said?
love that piece that you did.
I
Gotcha.
appreciate you, bro. Poetry is.
I
I got
appreciate
you.
all of you.
I just updated his name.
Oh man, we appreciate you too, brother.
Yeah,
I just
Just
updated
followed
his
you.
name down in the
JK the
in the
King.
overlay.
Jay,
You know, his
Follow me
name's in the
back.
overlay
okay,
now.
thank you. I'm gonna follow
Back
all
now.
of y'all.
So y'all can find him. His name is in the overlay. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. I muted them right now, so y'all can just hear me. And
And
did that.
listen, freshman
Let
year
them know.
high school, we go
Let
back.
them know, Martha. Yo, back in high school when Martha used to live out here in New York.
No, she didn't. Listen, Martha knew nobody. Okay, Martha was
Nah.
quiet, little shy, nerdy, short girl in the corner. That was it. It might change.
Now I say that you lived out here. You was out in New York. That's
For
all
sure,
I said.
man. BX all day, Queens all day.
Yeah.
So,
Queens VX, yo.
okay, thank you so
All right,
much
so
for
we
joining
got-
us. That was amazing.
Yes, definitely. I'm very
thank-
glad
that
you
was a
joined.
dope
I'm
piece.
very glad you joined.
Thank y'all. Like, thanks for the platform. I really appreciate that. Being able to get the opportunity to share this piece. It's a tough time that we all in,
Very
right
relevant.
now. There's a lot of things going on right now. A lot of people angry, which you can understand. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things out here. There's a lot of riots. Well, I don't even want to even use the word like riots, because I remember I was having a conversation with with one of my friends. I was like, it's we express ourselves in a certain way.
Right.
We're just upset. We're just upset, and we really want justice, because we witness murder in front of our eyes, and like I don't even understand like why like something like this should even be questioned on what happens like next, like with this person. Like of course they need to be prosecuted, of course. Like you this guy pleaded for his his life. Like that was his words. Like if you when you see like on my piece, like on my that I just performed, you'll see the on Instagram I have the intro. I use that part as the intro on the actual piece that I posted, where where he's saying, please, I can't breathe. Like how can somebody
I'm gonna be honest with you, Rudy.
Yeah.
As I played that piece several times.
Yeah.
Every time that I heard, and I played it several times, not only because I think that obviously it struck a nerve, right? But it shakes me to the core. Like I literally had to stop with the audio itself, where you could hear him pleading for his life.
Yeah.
I literally had to stop and like take a deep breath and be like, okay, let's try this again. And it's crazy to me, not even as a woman of color, not even as a mother, as a human being. How were you not moved by that? How did you and then you have the nerve and audacity. You have this man laying on his chest, handcuffed, hands on his back. Where is he going? That you need to have your where was he going?
I can watch.
He can't move.
And they tried to dispute it, talking about underlying issues. It's not even about that. It's about the principle of
You know what?
because I was prior military. So like when we were trained, they told us that it was everything that we did was on a scale. So pretty much it was the totality of use, like of a person's actions. Essentially, is supposed to determine what kind of force you're supposed to use. But if you already got him handcuffed, I mean, if you was gonna kill him, you should have just shot him while he was on the ground. If that's the case, like so it kind of it messes with me because it's like, all right, so is that what I'm supposed to expect? Because like my whole question is, what do you do when you are afraid of your protector? What are you supposed to do?
That's man.
You know what, bro?
Hey,
You hear what he just said?
I want to take a step back and I want to point out. I want to stress the point that you just made, Justin. With
man,
taking a person's actions as a measurement of this man that we're talking about. I'm pretty sure that you guys have seen the report just like I have. This man has, I don't know how many complaints for excessive force. He was involved in, I don't know how many people of color shooting. I think I counted 4.
Yeah. Hey, I'm about to send y'all something to y'all DMs
like,
and
let's
Instagram.
talk about the accumulation of people's actions and how it determines their character. Let's do that. Why does this guy still have a gun? This isn't new. This is over a decade worth of complaints.
Nobody policed the police. Nobody policed the police.
And this is what I'm saying. To me, as I'm reading some of the, like I tried, man, it's such a hot button topic for me because of my personal experience. And when I read Black Barrels and White Faces, those of you that haven't heard the piece, you'll connect the dots. But it's so crazy to me. I don't know what to be outraged by more. I feel like the action of the people that are more upset by the fact that there are riots going on than the fact that people are dying.
Right.
Or the amount of people that are using this as an excuse to just really show their true colors. Am I the only one that saw the pictures and the reports that one of the guys that was breaking the windows at, what was it, Autozone, was a cop?
A cop.
No, you're not the only one
Hiding
that saw
shit,
that.
making shit worse, making us look worse.
Right.
And it's like, what do you do? I'm so helpless as a mother, as a human. I feel so helpless because it doesn't matter what we do. It's like no matter what we do, we're screwed.
We can't win.
We're labeled crazy, wrong, irrational, angry, uncivilized.
It's a club. It's a club.
But if you look at all the things that we went through, like if it was reversed, like wouldn't you be angry as well? Like like so of course we're angry. We're angry. Like what I'm saying? It's like we have a history of wild stuff happening to us.
But
like,
there's that post out there. They talk about how good old Donald. He's talking about how he's talking about how when they were protesting in front of that building, and they had guns, they were like, hey, you got to give in a little bit. But then, when we start acting on our actions, our rationale or whatever, he's like, we thugs now. We are this. We're
what were his words? If they looting, we shooting.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think it's.
Can you guys hear me?
Presentation.
Yeah.
We can.
Chad, what up? Nico, what up?
Hey, bless.
Can you guys?
Can
you hear me?
We can hear you, Mama.
Oh, I just want to make sure because I was like trying to. Sorry, guys. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
No.
Man, we have some heavy hitters. I am so interested in hearing the insight. We have Chaz here who is living right now in Atlanta, right?
Oh, then I'm Augusta.
Okay. Also ex-military, just like Justin. Literally in the thick of everything that's going on, and you have been so amazing on social media. But as a poet, as artists, I feel that we have such an important role in these moments because we tend to speak when we can't or afraid to anyway. So I think that this is going to be a perfect opportunity for us to tap into our creative gift and express what a lot of us are thinking and are afraid to say because of the temperature of everything going on. And you guys have been so on point, each of you, so instrumental in getting awareness out and getting the word out and speaking out in favor of us that really don't know how to address a lot of what's going on. So thank you so much for joining us, both of you. I'm so interested in hearing your feedback on this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's on different levels. Because I know we, had the previous topic. I'm furthermore interested in the topic that we're on now, but I'll just do a real quick synopsis of the first piece of it, and I'll just kind of be short with that. And it's more so keeping in mind that science, religion, commerce, and government are all necessary separately. And so many times we try to merge those things, and so that one thing cancels out the other when they're both there. And so I always use the universe as everything that we're made of comes from the universe, from the elements. So it would be absurd to me to think that those same elements don't exist, and consider what a light year is. It's the universe is beyond our mental capacity. It's just stop. Anybody that's arrogant enough, come on now. We don't even know what the hell going on the next block, and we're talking about a dip. That's deep. And on top of that, you have to first understand science separately. So the scientific piece of it is there, So I always just say we're all birthed from stars. But then there's the feelings, and there's the emotions, and there's the spiritual part of it that's beyond our realm as well.
Right.
And so when we start getting into the weeds of things, we can go deep into history, and that is what it is. And we're going to have different perceptions, what have you, because of the miseducation. And so we get that. We have different backgrounds, so on and so forth. So someone that hasn't experienced in some, certain things may be able to have sympathy or, some type of comprehension, but unless you're there, and I love the analogy earlier, referencing the moon versus Mars, as far as like looking at Key West on TV or, on the screen versus being to go to Iraq or to Kuwait or what have you, it's a different breath of air. When you go to the Grand Canyon, it takes your breath away when you're there. But looking at it, so now I'm going to segue into suffering. When we're talking about this as if it's George Floyd, stop. This shit is not. That's look. If you got a bomb, it's still a bomb, whether it ignites or not. There's a lot of things that it takes to make a bomb. It takes this, and then all of a sudden you have to add that last piece. You add that last piece. Let's call it fuel. Let's call it oxygen. Whatever that is that ignites it, that ignited it. Because what I'm going to go through is, you can look at my IG. Some shit I repost from a year ago.
Yep.
Because the shit repeats. So if something repeats, we're naive. Because it becomes a hashtag. Let's call our shit out now.
Exactly.
How many fucking hashtag? A hashtag, a number means fucking nothing
at all.
How quick did we forget Trayvon? Stop playing. I went through a list of the last 10 years. Just the last 10 years of the shit we know about with all those acquittals. And so now that it's finally ignited to a degree, we're still into that same thing of opinions. Come on now, our shit is facts.
Yeah.
This shit is facts now. And so when you throw bullshit in the middle of it, it's to continue the chaos and confusion. And when you fall for it, shame on motherfucking you. And we need to raise our fucking hand and say, you know what? I don't know it all. I don't know it all. So we can't sit up and say, well, oh my God, all the rioting and the shooting is stupid. No, it was motherfucking stupid when we got shot, when we got choked out. when
Let's
a
go,
12-year-old
man.
with a fucking play ass gun gets capped, stop fucking playing and start
Say that
playing.
shit.
So all of the, you're not goddamn angry enough.
Nope.
Say
So
that shit.
until all of the rhetoric and all the bullshit, because right now I'm in Augusta. And I've been in Georgia about 10 goddamn years. First black manager in several different Fortune 5s and global corporations. And the shit that I seen down here, motherfuckers disrespecting each other, disrespect our women, but bowing down, oh, Mr. Rex and Mr. John, and get your bitch ass out of here. Fuck out of here. No, real shit now. Because
that's real.
Because our men, now, mind you, I'm gonna go there even from a men's standpoint. We've all been brainwashed. When I say that there's an impact of slavery, and a motherfucker tell me, well, you got a choice and all this shit, and I was facing 4 to 17 for some bullshit because I'm hanging out in Chicago like we do in the summer. Facts. You want to talk about murder rates? Why is Chicago always talked about? There's not even, it's maybe top 10 per capita in murders now. We're not talking about Birmingham, New Orleans.
15 seconds. They're not ready for that conversation.
So that's a separate thing. But what I'm saying is we're falling for the bullshit.
Exactly.
And so if we
Not
stay divided,
to cut you off. Not to cut you off.
Oh yeah.
But we about 5 seconds from launch.
Oh,
actually, it's launching now.
Hey, we coming back to that shit though. We coming back to that. Hey, put a pin in it right there.
That's real.
For real, for real.
No, I agree with him. I agree with him 100%. I think, like he was talking about, I think it's just programming. That was programming. And, you know, I don't know. I think so much stuff happens that in this world now that we so desensitized that we're not sure what to care about. We're not sure what to how to
Everybody
feel
in their
about certain
goddamn
things.
feelings all the time. You're right about that.
Yeah,
You can't even say anything no more.
It's
You're
too
right.
much happening. It's too
You
much
can't say
happening
no.
Get ready for the period of maximum dynamic pressure.
Dave Chappelle talked about it. He said, like, you know, I'm not sure. I can't care about this school shooting because I'm worried about this school shooting. I can't, you know, you know, I'm not sure what to focus on. So I totally understand what you're saying because, like I said, I think it's really the fact that we've just been desensitized because as much as we need the internet, I think it hindered us too because we got access to too much stuff. So it's like you know too much. You know too
There's a purpose
much
behind it.
at once. Yeah. Of course, it's over information. Because ultimately, everything that, like I said, it's really programming because they need us to be divided. Because ultimately, divided they can motherfucking conquer. So everything. I'm just saying. So it's like everything that we know right now. It might not even be true. That's the crazy thing. Some of this stuff ain't even true that we hear.
Right.
So we just take it with a grain of salt right now for them to later on use that against us.
Right.
So
right now,
I'm like, you know, so I'm the type of person, I'm reserved when I come to, like, when I hear something on the news, the first thing I'm doing, I'm thinking of a way to counter it. The first thing I'm thinking about, like, I'm just like, because I'm like, I don't know, dog, like that sounds kind of sketchy, like,
yeah, it's critical thinking.
Yeah.
Or what, or how would you benefit if I thought like that?
Coming up in
You know what I mean?
20 seconds.
So I wholeheartedly 100%, and also thank you for serving too.
Oh, appreciate it, brother. Thanks.
But that also changed your mind about something too, because once you see how the government really operates as an employee, you already understand how to, because you know how the boss man thinks. So you know what I mean?
To a degree.
And
that's
Who's the boss man?
That's obviously, you know, there's separation of controls. But what I'm saying is like there's some knowledge to be gained from that too. Just like I said, it's like being on the move to some people.
Who's the boss man?
But
the banks.
I'm sorry?
No.
The banks. She was blessed Jackson, who's the boss man. I'm saying the banks.
Yeah.
Y'all see me?
Yeah, we see you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't want to interrupt anybody, but
It's a discussion. Chime in whenever you speak. The focus is to you, so everyone's able to see you.
So it looks like it was a successful.
But like, I don't have. But my higher up and
second stage.
and that's my
They
heavenly.
call out 2 Alpha, so they're now in the
At the end of the day, all the stuff
carries them
going
all
on
the way
for the
from
longest.
North Carolina up the
And
eastern seaboard.
in regards to like all this stuff that's happening as far as with George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, stuff like that, I never forgot. That stuff hits me because, you know, I'm a mother. You know what I'm saying? So I will never forget those days that I saw these off. It just made me more and more afraid. Tried to make me more and more prepared to teach my kids how to walk the streets. Even when you teach them, they still get harmed by these policemen. As far as like the moon and stars and stuff, I feel like the moon and sun is like masculine and feminine. You know, I feel like we started off as stars. You know, and it might sound crazy to me. But for me, I'm very like, we're just in a different realm. We've been here more than once. Our soul made agreement to be back here. We've been here more than once. You know, something in us said, hey, okay, we want to do this, we want to do that. That's why you see certain people, we say, oh, you got an old soul. They don't have an old soul. They've been here before. It's something they have to do. But this whole George Floyd thing, this is a test. This whole coronavirus thing, this is a test. This is a new generation test. We got to figure out how we're gonna handle it. Our forefathers, our people before us, our ancestors before us, they did what they had to do. This world was built off of thievery, rioting,
pillaging,
and violence,
killing.
So don't let nobody tell you, oh, it shouldn't. No, this is how the world was built. And this is how everything with Boston Tea Party, let's keep it going. Because at the end of the day, in order for us to be free, we had to do a civil war. We still don't get the proper respect for Tuskegee Airmen. While we over here, we saved them. Because we was about to lose. USA was about to lose. We got on those planes and handled our business. And they were still injecting us with syphilis, bringing it back home to families. What we need to do is get our head out behind and stop thinking about turning up. Stop thinking about, oh, well, I just rather stay comfortable. You got to be a little uncomfortable because somebody's going to take you out of your comfort zone.
Right.
Period. I'm never comfortable. When I go to sleep, I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable because you never know what tomorrow brings to have it tomorrow. So you got to think about today. What are you willing to do for your children and people after you? What are you willing to do? See, our time is here already. The question is, what are you willing to do to make change? We don't have anybody else fighting for us. And we can't keep using Martin King, Malcolm X, Black Panthers. They had to do already. They came and go. We have to rely on each other. So when I see people on the social networks saying, oh, with the rioting and the looting and stuff like that, guess what? Those places, those banks, those Louis Vuittons, those all that stuff wouldn't be nothing without us. And it wasn't even made for us. We made Apple. We made Louis Vuitton and Gucci, all that stuff. We promoted Cristal. We promoted Remy Martin. We promoted everything that they didn't have to do nothing. You know why? Because we too busy trying to fit into their world instead of trying to figure out how to fix ours.
Oh, less.
So that's just how I feel about it. So when I see people burn up precincts and stuff like that, go ahead, have at it. Hold my beer.
Y'all, have y'all seen the
Yo, Khary, I'm sorry. Niqua, I cannot wait to hear what you and Charles are gonna spit. Just real quick, what's going on with this launch? Are we doing this or not? It's getting cloudy outside.
Yeah.
What they saying?
They might shoot them off in the rain, huh?
You didn't hear me?
It was a successful lunch. Y'all went, bro. I was paying attention to you. I'm with you.
No,
I had it on the screen and everything. I said, yo,
I was with you, bro.
I said the launch is going on
But she was
right
spending some
now.
real shit though. No, she was spending some real shit. But
I was so into the realness of what was going on.
hey,
I was like,
she was spending some
Yeah,
real
I
shit.
said
But
I had it on the screen.
They already
You
in the
know?
sky.
Yeah, like it's
I had
already
it on
up.
the. That shit is in space. We're 8 minutes past the ship being in
like, I'm worried about
space.
my space right now. I'm worried about my space, my energy, my world. Everybody has their own world that they living in. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has their own world that they living in. I'm living in my world, and my world needs to be protected at all costs.
Well,
what they doing in space with us down
miss your
here?
own world.
We gotta figure out what's
I
going
want
on
to
down
hear what
here.
you gotta
Or
gonna perform in my world.
Another round. Freaking, we're gonna continue to live this generational curse of being submissive to people who we don't need to even, like be submissive towards. Who the hell said that we have to say yes ma'am, yes ma'am, yes and yes sir to these people?
Damn, they already in the atmosphere.
Yeah, they 10 minutes into space.
This
Let me explain this on a
point, though, and it raises a very interesting topic of conversation that I think is really just rising to the surface with a lot of people, because there are the people that are saying, well, what are you gaining with, looting and rioting? What
we paid for
it. What do we
gaining
get out of
TVs.
not saying anything? What do we get out of hashtag?
I saw one white dude gain the Lego set.
We paid for that tax dollars instead of it going to the tax.
Who said to get a Lego set?
Well spent.
Yeah, I saw pictures of white dudes running out of stores with Lego sets.
Somebody's not going up there.
Niggas had masks on. Niggas had masks and Lego sets. And they was running out of Target like, yo, we out. And they was white boys.
They talking about all these mom and pops. Guess what? Your Trump, the person that who you voted for, guess what? He didn't even bail y'all mom and pops out. So y'all was gonna go into bankruptcy anyway.
Yo, but this is my point. This is the point. Do any of these people that are up in arms about this whole Target thing, does anybody own stocks in Target?
No.
No, all right. So does anybody know why they burned down Target? So
over Target getting looted, then are people dying?
Do they know why Target was looted and burnt down? Target was looted and burnt down because
they can't get that person back, but they can get that building back.
Look,
I don't give a fuck about no damn building.
I was saying Target was looted and burnt down because when they was protesting, they threw tear gas and shit, and people was like, yo, we need milk and water for our eyes or whatever, and Target was like, nah. So they was like, word? They came back, and that's why they burnt that shit down. You know? Pretty much Target was like, we with the police, we ain't giving y'all what y'all need. So the people came back and said, fuck you, Target. Burn that bitch down. And that's what they do.
Exactly.
That's funny, not funny though. Like, I mean,
it's funny to me.
I think the bullshit is that we're steadily fighting an old man's war. Like
definitely.
How long we gonna keep going back and forth with this? And because I'm at the point now where I don't even think this is racism anymore. I think it's just classism. I think it's just the rich versus the poor. And we got they rely on the police. Because think about it like this, right? I look at it like I live in a decent apartment or whatever, right? Whenever we got a problem, what they do? They call the police. They don't come to us. In the hood, they'll come to you. When you live in suburbia or wherever you live at, they rely on the police. They rely on the government. They rely on all these other agencies to come and handle you, to pick you up or whatever. But I think that is mostly classism, though. That's why I think it is.
So
I think that the racism part.
A lady at a park is over here, and she knows that she meant to say it's a black man right here doing this. That's not classism. What is that? Racism. Right. She knows what that is going to escalate into. She knew, and then once she saw that she wasn't getting the response that she needed, she sat up there and pulled the whole Grammy Award, Oscar-winning freaking nominee.
Yeah, you right.
Performance.
Oh my God, this person's doing this to me, and he's bothering me. He was.
I didn't see that, but they had the Airbnb. The guys at the Airbnb.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Can I say this real quick?
That Trump gave them the juice to come out and say that they don't like us. That's all.
Well, let me say this. Oh, go ahead.
They racist.
Look, and this is what I'm going to just say, because I'm a root cause thinker. So to get to the source of things, you can't just look at incidents. You got to look at the behavior.
Exactly.
So the behavior is in there. This is you can go back as long as you want to, and you can see the same thing, except technology changes.
Yep.
So, and what I'm getting at with that is, you got to look at the design. You have to look at the design. So if I want to, let's say from an engineering standpoint, and I want to put a circuit together, make a light come on. The light comes on. You may focus on the light being on, but the source of that was the electrical current that was fed into it. You eliminate the current, you eliminate the light. So what I'm getting at is this: you have to look at everything that. I'm just going to go right to the Constitution. We can go way back, honestly, way back before this country was the country, whatever you want to call it. But just the Constitution alone. So you start with, I pray that you all have to understand the 13th Amendment alone. So if you understand the 13th Amendment and you understand what the 13th Amendment says, which is saying that slavery is not abolished. And right at that moment, once slavery was technically abolished, that's where prison comes in at. You start with the chain gangs, so on and so forth. So one quote that I'll say is this: if you can convince the dumbest, stupidest, poorest, whatever person to think they're better than the best of another, you got them. Back to the money now. And so you could target is nothing. All these things are nothing because it all ties to the bank, the entire stock market, the whole world thing. And so if you look at how everything is coming globalized, that started in a lot of different areas. Even signage becomes global harmonization, to where they're taking words out and using pictures. There's a reason for all these things, but although there's layers, it's still a behavior behind the whole thing. So when we hear, like, I'll use this as a good case in point, going to Brazil. And the guy asked me, "Hey, where you from?" I said, "America." He said, "Me too." Y'all got that?
Yeah.
So we get pushed into these ideologies, if you will, of what a title is. And it's a title for this and a title for that.
Right.
And so what that does is, it's easier to say those people. It's not me. It's those people in the hood. It's those people doing this. It's those people, but it's not me. And for me, understand, like I said, it's the behavior. So we have to check, why is the behavior the behavior? And that's the question I have to ask. Because just because it's one thing, that doesn't mean it's not also something else. So it is racism. It is also classism. It is also many different things. It's greed. It's, again, like I started with, commerce. It's about commerce. Commerce is necessary separately. We always had trade. Through the history, that's just the way it was. You always had trade. You always had religion, belief in a higher being. Then there's science. We can't debate science. And then there's government. Without government or some type of governing power, which has been through Africa, through wherever we want to do, it's always been some type of a leader and some type of governance. Those are all necessary. But once you start tying religion with government, science with religion, all these things tied together, doesn't match up. Back to chaos.
No, it doesn't.
At all.
So you have to be able to isolate things as this could be right and this could be true as well. And so what we end up doing is, well, I'm more religious and I'm more science and I'm more government and I'm more this, I'm more South, I'm more Florida, I'm more Georgia, I'm more Chicago. I'm more this.
For me.
You know, so and you can hear it even in the way that we like. Let's go hip hop.
None of us.
Hip hop is a great example of that. That when we started turf wars, word, we didn't even own the company.
That's Chaz, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Chaz.
Hey, Snake. But you know, on some
Well,
real, you know, and it's
we could
necessary
actually
to understand. Like, you notice that nobody stopped anybody from having those wars. East Coast, West Coast, this, that, and the other.
Well, I want to take this opportunity, Chaz. You definitely take this to shed a lot of light on the subject. Do you have a piece that you can share for us? I know that you've been very vocal.
Oh, absolutely.
And poetic.
Right? He's been over here educating.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love seeking knowledge.
Let's go, Chaz. Let's go, Chaz.
Yeah, let's go, Chaz. Let's see what you gonna spit for us.
I'm gonna actually read this one. This is The Abyss, the Core, and the Crust. This is out of the book The Journeys, Smiles, Frowns, Ups, Downs, Smiles, and Frowns, Volume 1.
Okay, author.
Okay.
Product placement.
Okay.
Product placement.
Spoken word artist.
Life goals. You know what I'm saying? Life goals.
Product placement.
But the drag of copulation between the aggressor and the meekly being of the oppressor offers limited optical awareness to the untouched. But is it true that the untouched are really touched, however, not realizing such? Delving deep into a profound darkness, a leap of faith may not be the smartest. What's left are untruths and experiences. Mind, body, and soul separated at birth, yet by subconscious search of the truth. How can it be so simple then that women are so out there loose? Man the breadwinner, woman the servant, or engaging the serpent, that satanic beast? Could it be that women continue to hate love, to say the least? Or is it man who is pulling the wool blanket over the eyes of many? Many generations blinded by the aggressive plot to see what is not. Scientists and religious leaders, philosophers and kings, the difference may not be a thing, but things. Then there's the conscious search for the truth, without accepting lies for proofs. Without accepting lies for truths, without proof. The minds of many, the abyss, the deepest and dark, without accepting the versions of proof that plague the minds of many. The abyss, the deepest, darkest of all black holes, where all mankind folds. Because in reality, we're probably really afraid to know. The aggressor offers sickly desires perfumed with illusions of higher. Not to say the higher is responsible for these liars, who if there's a hell, they'll burn in eternal fire. History as we know it tells us plenty of little, hidden by depictions of an unworldly world, desperately seeking suicide to end the turmoil. The chosen being chosen for damnation, not from God, but his own creation. Inspired by the diligence of early Western civilization, who weren't really that civilized in the first place. Chose to take a higher being's place, mistake, or not, because it's all a plot to scare the meek by telling tales of Noah's Ark. However, afraid of the dark. The sane could be insane enough to believe what is heard or read, speaking to the dead, announcing tributes and building monuments, while death approaches quick. It's a bottomless pit, decreasing the speed of pulse to a certain halt. Then everybody places fault for the inevitable. Quite incredible how the truth is in our face as we face the unknown, but can't inform the world because we're gone. The hypocrisy of our democracy, which really thrives on the autonomy of Euro-American nations, goes beyond the realm they seem. Have to say it's designed by God, man, or somewhere in between. If it's written, then who's our writer? Because he's definitely not the writer. Only an illusion is disguising the real intentions of escaping divine intervention that can result in the demise of the human race. Or maybe the creation of a righteous place, found only in the deepest realm of the untouchable earth, where the wicked are afraid to search, only excavating the crust, the fate of the core, claiming fabulous explorations, yet afraid to explore. Sapiens by the billions separated into millions until bilingualism becomes necessary for survival. Not of the fittest, but of the richest. Enveloped by the auditory expressions of the serpent's hiss, fatidic beliefs of a second coming become a miss, leading to the welcoming of the inevitable. Language besets the soul, however becoming acceptable. Because the truth has a way of letting one know what's not true by providing a hint for it. It is said that a nigger is the worst type of man or American who is afraid to take a stand to fight for his own freedom or fight for the freedom of those who lead him. Crumbs, scraps, and leftovers are the ingredients that make up these servants, who polish prison floors with constant stripping, institutionalized by revolving doors of the departments of incorrection, must deny infection with T-cell injections instead of cell block collections. In order for this to happen, we really don't need direction, only love of self. Imperfections are just that, imperfections. Internal wealth is overshadowed by the need of external wealth. And the righteous, the truly righteous, remain stealth, which in reality makes them the unrighteous, which understandably afraid of the venomous bite that produces quite a lingering sting, untreatable by feeble scientists and kings. These self-proclaimed leaders of Manson in a land built by slaves, led by Klansmen. But no longer are they hooded beasts carrying a noose. They disguise themselves as politicians in business suits, business educators and right-wing extremists, networking a plan for colored non-existence, while avoiding the issue of financial void of generations of American Negroid who continue partisan selfishness. Or on the other hand, or continuously separated by the love of lavishness, or on the other hand, the hate of another success, especially those who claim to be blessed. Natives, rarely seen, except on reservations and on the television screens, have been manipulated and scorned over 500 years, a nation continuously being torn. Reliving the years of empires and crusades, the only difference being the abolishment of slave trades. A travesty in many ways. Americans have the freedom of speech, but must watch what they say. So, what is an American anyway? Is it the few, the proud, the brave? Or is it those whose prospered from the work of slaves? Those who boasted the American flag in the right hand, with the left hand holding the flag in another hand. Are they also American? Or is the world really one nation separated by water, invisible borders, and centuries of slaughter? What does it matter the flag you hold, truth be told? We're all the same, or at least from the same mold. Name one person who knows for sure, and I'll identify a heart that fails to be pure. Thousands of religions for billions of lost souls who claim to be saved from what? Do you really know? All we know is life, and many causes of death and strife. But the truth lies in the abyss. To find the truth is all I wish, but must wait for that fatal kiss. The kiss of death makes the living weep, all afraid of eternal sleep, not knowing that it's all a dream. At least it seems that we can't wake up unless we sleep. May not get the meaning because it's too deep.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So now, we'll tell everybody where they can find you at now.
I'm on IG, Chaz Van Gogh World, CHAZ, as it's actually on the thing, Chaz Van Gogh World. And I pretty much, my range of poetry goes pretty much anything based on my experiences or my observations. A lot of times I just use things from a critical thinking standpoint.
Okay.
Again, I look at behavior, versus actual incidents. But then I try to throw, my little comedy in here and there,
Got you.
But at the same time, I could also go super deep. I can go pretty hard. Like even like this last 24 hours, I've been just posting like just real shit, based on this stuff. But I like to, make sure it's not understood. My perspective is coming just from an incident. It's coming from the whole bag. And I've been here fighting this, on the front lines for a good minute. And I've watched many of us bow down, and I'm just calling it what it is. So we wait for things to happen and wait for things to be a hashtag. So after this is all said and done, and this is something to ask yourself or what have you, that's anybody. And now what?
Got you.
That's it.
Well, I appreciate
now
that,
what?
bro. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no doubt, family.
Yo, thanks for joining us today too.
Make sure you follow me back now.
Man.
Make sure you follow me back now.
All day, bro.
I actually, Khary, if it's okay with you, because I know that Nikwa is also, going to go on. My piece is very short. So if it's okay with you, I'll interject and do my piece real quick. And then
I'd love for you to go.
Let go.
Those of you that know me, right? Know that this is a very Very personal piece. I'm also going to read it. I do know it, I do know it by heart, but I tend to get emotional when I read this. So I'm going to read. Um, it's called Black Barrels and White Faces. And I wrote this piece 2 years ago after coming home from work and, just having that feeling in the pit of my stomach that something was off. And I pulled into the complex that I was living in at the time. And lo and behold, I find my then 14-year-old, who, for all intents and purposes, those of y'all who don't know me in real life, I'm only 5'1". My son was a whole 5'9.5" at the time, big dude. And I turned that corner and I saw my little boy in handcuffs. And this piece was the only way that I could attempt to verbalize exactly what I felt as a mother in the midst of everything that's going on in America when it comes to the racial divide and police overreactions. So this piece is called Black Barrels and White Faces. My dear son, I turned the corner and only caught the silhouette of your face, tear-soaked before I froze. There's no way that my little boy was standing in the distance surrounded by cops whose faces were filled with indifference. My look was that of fear and sorrow, but they couldn't tell the difference. To them, I was another Black parent and you another statistic. Your explanations were deemed unnecessary conversations by the same 10 cops who felt the need to surround you, one hand on their guns, the other on their tasers. And all I can remember was the black barrels and the white faces. And all I can recall was all those colored folks who caught cases, yet at the hands of white privilege were more like lost cases, deemed generally worthless, whose real struggle had no basis. So as sweet as the concept of freedom is, at 14, my son knew exactly how bitter that taste really is. I saw what they didn't, and I felt what they couldn't. And in the midst of the chaos and the cacophony of the sirens and accusations, I heard a wail escape my son as he looked at me and screamed, "Mommy, I didn't do it." Dissonance is defined as a clash resulting from the combination of two disharmonious or unsuitable elements. Melanin deserves respect. There should be no impediments. Love and equality should always be prevalent now. If only we could get the rest of the world to share in on that sentiment. Black Lives Matter. Thank you for listening. I just realized that's a really personal piece. My son is 16 years old, damn near 5'11", and shakes like Bambi whenever he sees a cop car. My son, my youngest, is 5 years old and has the most vivid recollection of what it was like to turn that corner and see his brother in handcuffs.
That's crazy.
Now, what happened? It was a case of he said, she said by a 16-year-old girl, Caucasian girl, who had one too many friends over without her parents' permission. And my son just happens to be, the one that her, father, who is 6'4", 200 and something pounds, he just felt the need to beat the shit out of my kid. And after he beat the shit out of my kid, he threw him down a flight of stairs. And when my son defended himself after being spit on in the face twice, he wasn't looked at as a 14-year-old who just got assaulted by a full-grown adult and a little girl whose story was so inconsistent that she was clearly crying wolf. My son was literally surrounded by 10 cops. And if their hands weren't on their guns, they were on their tasers, all drawn out, as my son cried on his knees, saying, "I didn't do anything." And these same 10 cops didn't respect the fact that my son was unaccompanied by an adult when they decided to question him and arrest him. They read his Miranda rights and decided that I didn't need to be there. and held my son without letting me have access to him for hours. After further research, the deputy that was on the case has since retired. He was forced to be retired after a very checkered collection of cases when it came to Latino boys and Black men or young men in the Tampa area came to surface. As a result, my son is being tried as an adult. My son was 14. My son loses strength in his legs sometimes when he's walking, and he just drops to the ground as a result of being thrown down that flight of stairs. My son bled from his ears for an hour before that deputy decided it was okay for him to be checked out by a doctor. That same doctor purposely tightened the handcuffs on my son behind his back when he complained about them being tight. So when I see all of these things on the news, it hits different. It hits home. I don't know what's going to happen with my son. I don't know how many more times I'm going to turn on social media, the TV, the radio, and find my son's story on the lips of another parent. I've never been a supporter of anything other than civil obedience, but I'm fed the fuck up, as I'm sure most of us are. So it's important that this launch is happening. It's important that we're exploring other places, because clearly this planet is fucked. And there's a revolution that's about to start. It started in the hearts and minds of many already. Looting? I don't give a shit how many targets get burned down if it helps save one child from what my son had to experience. I don't care what commercial property has to suffer. I don't want anyone to get hurt. Shit, I'm tired of seeing our people get hurt too. So what solutions do we have at our hands? What more can we do than say we're fed the fuck up and take matters into our own hands? To be heard. That's all we want. To be heard, to be treated like you were fucking hired to protect and serve. Not by what you think is the law, but what the fuck it actually is. And sadly, that's just the icing on the cake when it comes to the racial divide in America. So we can definitely go down this rabbit hole and be here for hours. But I'm grateful for the collective of poets and artists that are, like I said earlier, finding their voice in this time. That piece is very hard for me to perform. My voice almost always breaks. I almost always have to end up shaking in the bathroom in tears because PTSD is a bitch. But it's my reality, and I'm blessed, as fucked up as that experience has been and is, I'm blessed that I can still see my son, say I love you, hear his voice. But it doesn't change the systematic bullshit that our people are constantly exposed to. So, could our money be going elsewhere? Will it change if we give these cops better training when clearly the poison, the seed has been planted way before they took a fucking oath to protect and serve? The issue goes beyond a shield. The issue's in here. The issue's in here. What do you do with that? What's the anecdote to that? Thank you for listening, y'all.
Oh yeah, that one. I'm gonna leave you alone now. I'm gonna leave you alone. All right. You proved your point. Okay, I'm done.
I promise. It'll be on a different note, but it's just
All right.
It's been a heavy topic so far. And I didn't get to finish my Sun, Moon, and Stars piece, because I was about to be all about the planets and shit. And then I wake up and I'm like, the fuck is going on with this world? Like, it's hard to be inspired by the distractions.
Exactly.
So directly affected by what's going on around you.
What about you, Shanika?
So you're afraid kids to actually go out in the world,
Yeah.
So
How about you,
Shanika?
Shanika?
It's dark skin because I'm like light bright. Does it? My skin, my son is dark skinned, so I completely understand the fear. I understand the feeling of hopelessness. My son's been in. He's a good kid, and he has ADHD, so he's been in certain things that he's just impulsive, and that's a part of his issue. As far as ADHD, it's an impulsive condition. But they use that against him in school, and like how it wasn't as I can't compare your situation to mine because I can't imagine my child being in handcuffs. And I'm sorry that you had to even go through that, because just me having to fight for my child in school, just for them to get the proper education alone. So like hearing your story breaks my heart, because we have a long way to go. We have to realize what policing came from. It came from slavery. Police came from when runaway slaves left, they would police them and find them. Most people who are a part of police, not all, are KKK. They have to join something. They have to be a part of law enforcement in order to have power and get away with it. Teachers, lawyers, police officers, they need that power in order to our men, our people. So is there a solution? No, because we can't change the minds of blind people. This is a taught way of thinking. Babies aren't born racist. They are taught this way. When my son was in 2nd grade, these 2 little girls said they couldn't play with him because he was a nigger. This stuff is real. They didn't even call me and tell me that, but they was quick to call me when my son was playing in the hallway, horse playing with his friends. So we have to wake up. First of all, stop asking for permission, because we don't need no permission from nobody. Because this country right here is for the people, by the people, and of the people. We can overthrow the government if we want it to. It happened more than once. We got to get out of this slave mentality of thinking that we gotta go according to what master tell us to do. We don't have no masters. As soon as we get out of that mentality, we'll be stronger and wiser, and stop trying to go against each other and thinking, jealous of one another because one person has more. Everybody's blessing is different from the other person's blessing. Just because this person got it, you don't know how they got it. You don't know what they've been through to get it. So as soon as we get out of that, I feel like we will be better as a community, as a people. I would never sit up there and watch somebody a police officer have their knee on someone's neck as a nurse.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I don't care what nobody said. If he has underlying heart condition, where was his knee? His carotid artery. Where does the carotid artery go? To his heart. Why do you think when you get an echocardiogram, they check your neck to make sure there's nothing clotted in your carotid artery? So all that riffraff is just the blind people who don't know how this works. I would have jumped in front of that Chinese guy, pushed him out of the freaking way. He would have had to tase me off of that other police officer, because that's what we have to do. We have to be willing to die for this, because the people before us and before them, They did.
I've thought about that. I've thought about what if I would have jumped on the dude and be like, yo, get the fuck off of him? Would have anybody have had my back? Or would have it been just me, and then them 3 other cops would have got up off of him and fucked me up, and now 2 of us would have been dead, and everybody would have been like, they should have just let him do what he did. You know?
I feel like you would have got fucked up. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I'm saying that's the thing. Exactly. You know, it's like it's like I would have. I've had this thought. I've had this thought. If I go jump on this dude, is anybody gonna have my back?
But I feel like you would have saved his life because you would have had a couple of cuts and bruises.
Yeah,
but you getting those cuts and bruises would have saved his life.
Yeah, or they might have killed me instead.
Because they can't take all of us.
And nobody would have helped me.
I don't care what nobody.
Right,
You know?
and that's what I'm getting to.
That's the only
Everybody
thing.
would have jumped in and said,
If.
"Nah, this is not happening in front of
That's
me."
the big thing. It's if. And you know what? In this country, too many people just automatically assume the police are doing the right thing. They automatically assume, oh, if the police are doing something, they're doing the right thing. And that's the problem. It's not enough people don't want shit to change. It's that there's too many people that think the police are doing the right thing.
You know, people assume they make an ass out of themselves.
Mhm.
When I see somebody put some knee on the person's neck, don't tell me about his past health history. We ain't talking about COVID-19. We're talking about you putting your knee on somebody's neck for 10 minutes, even when he's not even talking anymore. Guy's lifeless. I don't care what you tell, he died later at the hospital. No, he was dead at the scene.
Can we talk for 1 second? I would love your feedback on this. Can we talk for 1 second about what is he, the governor, the mayor? I didn't even give that man enough respect to learn his name because I was so outraged by his statement. This man straight up said, if you can ask for help, you can breathe.
Yeah, that was a mayor some town somewhere else.
Well, when he was asking
he was
for
from
help,
some other
able
town.
to
for his life, and he's like, oh, it's fine. If you can scream for help, you can breathe.
Oh, they helped him all
for a
right.
threat, and you can get the fuck off. I'm sorry for my
You know,
language, but I'm really
I
upset
think that
about
was
this.
a mayor in Mississippi.
Because
That was a mayor in
it was
Mississippi
3
that said that
people
bullshit.
on his neck, along with somebody on his neck. He had no way of breathing. He couldn't breathe through his mouth. He couldn't breathe through his nose. He couldn't even breathe through his stomach. So you telling me that all 4 cops, not one, could have assisted and said, "Hey, you know what? This is a part of their code. If you see somebody use excessive force as a police officer, even one of your own, and you see that the person is detained and they're no longer a threat, you have to intervene." The fact that they stood there and watched all that happen, and then he nerve to bring up that he had heart condition, that should make you more ashamed.
Yes.
Do y'all recall the beginning of the video? And this is the part that doesn't need to be forgotten. You could hear black people in the background, black guy in the background,
like
basically criticizing the guy that was about to die. Oh yeah, you shouldn't move. You shouldn't have did this. You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So I bring that up because I've seen that on other videos, and I've also heard that in rhetoric from black people about how
assuming the police
to
are
act
correct
around police.
I have no more friends on Facebook.
You know,
Yo, true colors are really, really hard during all of this. To be
But
honest
I tell you what though.
it started with COVID. Like I've
I
been
tell
an
you what.
introverted extrovert ever since I can remember.
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all.
But ignorance that is coming out of people's mouths, it's to the point where it's like, yo, if this is your energy behind a keyboard, I don't think I want to share the same airspace with you. I'm straight.
No.
Like it's
When this COVID thing happened, it was kind of like.
By the way, let's not let them distract us from the fact that we're still in danger of COVID. Like the CDC came out with that another 150,000 because of the protesting is going to die.
Bro, we still supposed to be expected to vote for somebody. I'm still worried about that too. Like, what are we supposed to do?
I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I'm just saying because like I said, it's so much going on. I don't know, bro. Listen, 2020 been a hell of a year. This need to be a movie.
And I tell you what, everybody. I tell you what.
Give you 20/20 vision.
I tell you what. We could talk about this all day, but I can't sit here all day. So, Nika B, I think that's what your Instagram is. Am I correct? Am I correct? Did I say that correctly? Let me unmute you. I muted
You said
everybody.
it correctly.
Okay. You had a piece that you wanted to do?
I guess. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so I got stuff I have to do this afternoon, so I can't be here all day. But I think this is a good idea that maybe we should do maybe like some type of chat like this maybe once a week or something like that and kind of make that a thing, you know? Because we kind of had some really good information in here. I thought I was going to have a real lighthearted, hey, let's watch a rocket ship fly in the space type of thing. No, we was black folk and turned into black folk talk, and yeah, there was a lot going on in the world this week, and a whole lot shit burning down. I tried to ignore. It's like I was like, this was the week I chose to ignore news. I tried to I'm gonna stay away. I'm not gonna really the week that they burned down police precincts. What? This is the week that I'm trying to stay away. It was a dope week in news. I shouldn't say that, but it was. But
it was.
You're gonna perform a piece. What are you gonna do? What you got for us?
A prayer. My prayer.
Let's hear it.
Dear God, I hope we get out of this angry space where we can't coincide due to a different race. I know you said we were made equal, but they're down here being taught to destroy and be evil. They are judging us based off of our color. I know you're our father, so why are our white brothers and sisters refuse to protect and embrace us? I have faith in you. I know your vision and version was so beautiful. I can't question your works. However, I truly want to know why brown-skinned people suffer and get it the worst. So many people can be very outlandish, serpent-like, trying to lead people. They use your name in vain, self-proclaimed Christians, yet they enslave the malprovished, feeding their children racist garbage and creating a lot of division. I know you came across one of your own, foot on his neck, screaming for help. Me, having so much faith in you, you laid his shell to rest. The question I have is, this unfair treatment, is it ever going to end? Are we going to have a continuously bury our loved ones due to the color of our skin? I know it's not my will, but your will that shall be done. Black on black crime and white on black crime, all because of a man with a gun. Higher privilege. I really cry at night, living with anxiety, hoping my kids stay safe and they never have to deal with the police in that way. I'm scared for my husband and myself, occupying poverty without possessing wealth. Dear God, we need some answers. My kids are asking me if they will live past 30. Should they be afraid? They don't want us to get that call that they got killed by our supposed protectors, or a bullet from a drive-by stray. We are truly solely living for today. With this pandemic, socially distancing, can't see our family, no healthcare, no real opportunities coming our way. Father who are in heaven, I'm calling out your name. I know your kingdom is filled with people just like me. I'm sorry questioning your motives, but because the devil is a liar, we truly need your assistance. This cry is very dire. I need to know that nobody's born without sin. But please keep me protected under your wing. Amen. Nick will be.
Amen. That's what's up.
No.
What's up? Got the snaps going. Air horns your prayer there. Do the air horns on it.
There you go. My mic is muted, so you couldn't hear me going off. But okay, poet. Yes.
Hey, there's one day.
Well, that was Nika B.
What up?
What up? Oh, what up, Ant? Look at
Yeah. Visual Nick, we here, baby.
Well, I'd like to thank all of y'all.
Hey, what's up,
I'd like to
man?
thank all of y'all for joining in and checking in. You know, I gotta get ready to get out of here. I'm gonna let y'all chill in the chat for a little while. Do what y'all do. Y'all can finish having conversations. I'm gonna sign off of YouTube. I got some things I gotta do. I want to thank everybody that came through, all my guests, everybody that chimed in and had something to say today. Shit, I think that's about it. I tried to have a lighthearted conversation about space and things, but we got kind of deep. It was a rough week, but I think we handled it pretty well. Even though the world seems like it's going crazy, I think it's supposed to be where it needs to be with all the craziness that's happened, you know? Black folk finally need to just stop standing still and saying we shall overcome and start burning shit down like they are. I probably shouldn't say that, but this is my crib. I say what the fuck I want. I'm glad you joined me. May the rest of your week be great. Stay sucker free and keep a smile on your motherfucking face. We out, baby.